Are you tired of being so confused? You feel like you're more fucked up than the lies on the evening news. Well, just step right in. We can talk about it all as friends. And if you want, we can hug and kiss and make up for the party ends. Agree or disagree, stop arguing me. 'Cause I'm everything you want, damn sure what you need. I won't tell no lies, back up all the facts with truth. And if you can't get down with that, you must be somebody's dad.
Hey, Matt, congratulations on your success, brother. And I really appreciate you giving, both sides, and just free speech, the opportunity to have a platform, dude.
Got it. You got it. Thanks for everything you've done for this country, Eli. We'll talk next time. Tell Jen hello, and I'll have this ready in a couple of hours, and you can share it and take a look. Thank you, man.
Thanks, brother.
All right. Bye-bye.
Adjusting transmitter output.
This is the Don't Unfriend Me Show with your hosts, Matt, Leeroy, Amy, and Olivia. Geopolitics, military analysis, and election coverage. Coming to you live on all major social media channels at The Dumb Show. Honest, direct, unfiltered. We can agree, we can disagree. Just don't unfriend me.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Don't Unfriend Me Show. Matthew Spear in the house. Leeroy is in the green room. He will be here in just a second. Got a message from Amy. Everyone's like, where's Amy? Where's Leeroy? Why? Where? They're here. Leeroy was sick. He's going to be on in just a second. Like I said, first, want to show you a quick one from... Hi, there's Leeroy. I don't know why your camera's not working. What the hell are you doing down there? Here, watch this.
Whoa, who's that?
To say thank you so much for your continued support during my absence. I know I haven't seen you guys in a really long time, and I miss all of you so very much. I can't wait to be back on live with you. I still have a few more things to take care of in my personal life and with the transition into my new career path that I'm on, but I hope to be back in a couple of weeks. I really miss all of you. I appreciate all the support you've given me. I am praying for you all every single day, and I can't wait to see you all very soon.
Bye. So she is good. She is back. She is in the hood. We've got let's hope this took. It did. I fixed your background. Leeroy's in the house. Leeroy, what's up, Bubba?
How's everything going?
Good. Folks, I didn't do the beginning, so let me do it real quick. To let you know, Chuck and Kathy Peterson will be in the house tomorrow. In-house. They're in studio. They are
Nice.
flying in, and they're going to come over and say hello. Philip Hamilton, Senate candidate for Virginia, will be here. Brian Cook, father who, I'm not even going to tell you the story. It's so good. He just an amazing human being. You got to watch him. Then we have Jessica Lynch. This is pretty cool. Prisoner of war in the Iraq War. She's going to tell the story, how she was rescued, what really happened. And she has a very different story than the media told, and can't wait to do it. We also have the older millennial from X. He is a pretty huge get for us, and he's going to be on the show live, so we're pretty excited. But tonight, what's more important is that we got Leeroy in the house, and that's pretty cool. How about that guest lineup, buddy? Pretty cool, huh?
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
I know, isn't it? Just wait till you see what's coming in April. So it's like we're booked. So things are happening. Twitter tonight. No Twitter. I don't know what's going on with Twitter. I got to figure it out. But honestly, here's the good news. Talked to Rumble today, and I finally got a hold of somebody. And I said, dude, our network, we're ready to hit 400,000. What the hell's wrong with you guys? We have 1,800 followers on Rumble. What is happening? They're like, listen, we think there's a bug in your account. When you started it started at Don't Unfriend Me, and then this is the dumb show. Your follower account, your main account is 160 followers, but your other account is 1,800, but it will not grow. You're right. We have not seen any growth whatsoever. So I said, listen, can you do me a favor? Can you just name my main page at the dumb show, delete Don't Unfriend Me completely, bring all the videos over and all my followers over? And they're like, yep, we think that's going to work. So they're doing that as we speak. Twitter, I honestly, I don't even know if I'm going to go on X anymore. X is we have been blackballed on there since the days of, Jack and crew. And I don't think Elon knows what the hell he's doing. And we can't grow. It's the same thing that went on for 2 years. Elon came back. We gained 5,000 followers. And then since then, for the last year and a half, we have went up 5 followers. We go down 5 followers. We go up. We go 5. It never goes more. It never goes less. It doesn't matter how much interaction we have. So we're just thinking we're done with X at this point. If this keeps up, we're just going to be completely done. So there's the laundry. We got a lot to cover, dude. There's been a whole bunch going on. Do you have a few to stick around with us tonight, I would say?
Me? Absolutely.
Yeah,
I'm here for the long haul, Bubba.
It was more rhetorical.
I feel so much better. Let me tell you, COVID can suck it, because that's actually, for everyone who doesn't know, that's exactly what I had. I had COVID, and I had a raging fever at one point. My throat was raw. I was just, I was not sleeping. Stupid COVID. So I'm over that. And I actually ended up having to take all the time off of work too. So I chewed into my PTO, but I'm good now.
It was bad, dude. Like, I got stacked with norovirus and COVID at the same time. And then I went on like 2 different antibiotics, kicked that, but I wound up getting a massive sinus infection in upper respiratory.
Ooh.
So I was down for 12 days. I am feeling better. I haven't lifted in like 2 weeks. So it was just, shitty. Horrible. All right. Let's do this first. Mean tweets, folks. Instead of like giving you guys videos on all this shit, we're just going to go into some things that I see on the internet. And this is kind of a new segment. I don't know if it's going to last. I hope it does. I think it will. I believe that this is one of Leeroy's favorite people in the whole planet, which is Malcolm Nance, Senior Chief Malcolm Nance. Do you familiar with Malcolm Nance there, Leeroy?
I don't know who Malcolm Nance is.
So let me give you a little brief rundown. First of all, he's an anti-Trumper, but this guy is an intel guy who likes to pretend he's a war fighter. So he did counterintelligence. He did intel. He taught at the SEER school in Coronado. That's impressive, right? That's impressive. A SEER instructor
actually is impressive.
Yeah, he was a CTU unit, so he did counterterrorism. The guy's done a lot, and hats off to him. But as far as pretending to be a war fighter and being downrange because you decided to go to Ukraine when you're 55, 60 plus, that doesn't make you a war fighter. It makes you a person who went to Ukraine and volunteered in their military. His service record in intelligence is extensive, and I have mad respect for it. You're a senior chief. You earned it. You don't get to senior chief when you're a shitbag usually. So you must have done some things right. But your takes are usually wrong. And here is another example. He goes, JFC, it's amateur hour amongst the punditry over this mine issue, isn't it? Let me tell you something. If you've never had to go through minefields or mined waters or hit a mine, then you should consider listening to people who have. So obviously this guy has been hit by a mine. So let's see. Well, go ahead.
Yeah, but that's an appeal to authority, right? That's basically just saying, if you've never done this, then don't comment on it.
Yeah,
that's not a logical argument, but please continue.
Yeah, and not only that, but I can go ahead and list every ship that's been hit by scratch that. I'm going to list every U.S. ship that's actually interacted with a mine, or a magnetic mine, or an underground mine, or a mid-level submersible mine. And I can count it on 2 hands since Vietnam. So if you were on board one of those vessels, or he has some sort of expert. Now, if you want to talk about something where we're looking at BDA or we're sweeping channels, or you want to talk about the first Gulf War, well, okay, then that's pretty much anyone who's worked in intel. But you're talking about being on a vessel that was struck with a mine. I've got some argumentation I want to throw your way. You have to kind of list which vessel you're on, unless you're a USS Cole guy, which I know he wasn't. This guy,
if he's older, if he's a little bit older, and really was threatened by mines, that kind of thing, my guess would be an Oliver Hazard Perry class. Forget.
It could be. And listen, this guy was obviously in during the 50s and 60s. There could be some Vietnam time, but understand what we're talking about back then and what we're talking about now are two completely different weapon systems. So the mines of the yesteryear, although are used in the higher level areas of Iran on the coastal areas, and those are specifically used for LHA or LHD type of military insertions or dumping troops off, they want to stop that. The Straits of Hormuz don't have chain mines literally up and down all over it. That's not the type of mines we're talking about. We'll go into it. And he says, let me tell you something. If you've never had a blah, 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 blah. Sure, they're not wonder weapons until the explosion and the massive rush of thousands of tons of seawater at that funny angle your ship takes that makes you suddenly and urgently want to take a fear piss. Yeah, 100%. A mine is a terrible thing to waste a ship. So, yes, we know. They're the solid, proven, and silent weapon that cancels insurance policies for every merchant ship in the region without ever proving they are even in the waters. Listen, it's not just the Straits of Hormuz that require these ships to have insurance. If you're going down to Africa, if you're going down to Djibouti, if you're going down the Cape, if you're going down the Ivory Coast, I mean, you're dealing with pirates. You're dealing with coastal batteries. You're dealing with the frickin' Houthis in Yemen. The entire Middle East is a dangerous area to traverse, and insurance rates are astronomical anyway. Lastly, the U.S. Navy is absolutely not ready for this. The 4 ships we had dedicated to this were just decommissioned. We lost all of our corporate knowledge. Now we're running an experiment, and it's going to cost people lives. Okay, all right. So I want Leeroy's reply. Here's mine. I'll give you what I wrote back. Somebody else dressed him down pretty hard too, but I wasn't very gentle. Your take on Navy mine countermeasures is completely wrong. The old Avenger class minesweepers in Bahrain were retired because they were only nearly 40 years old, but they were replaced by 3 Independence class littoral combat ships, the Canberra, the Santa Barbara, and the Tosa, all currently deployed with the 5th Fleet in the Persian Gulf. Those ships carry the Navy's newest mine countermeasure systems with unmanned vehicles, advanced sonar, helicopter laser detection, and robotic sweep systems that keep sailors out of the minefield instead of sending them directly into it. Santa Barbara has already conducted mine operations with unmanned systems and even launched a Lucas drone at sea under Task Force 59. Transition was planned for years with overlapping crews, testing and training and preserve expertise. Instead of weakening capability, the Navy has fielded a far more advanced forward deployed mine warfare force than anything in the region since the Gulf War. I want to put one more caveat on this, and then I'm giving it to Leeroy. This isn't including the systems that are available as well. And you have the shark knife systems, you have the Orca systems, you have plenty of other systems that can HK mines, underwater vehicles, submersibles, and dormant mines as well. I'm not saying it's perfectly safe. It's not, because right now we can't escort ships because of CSC-3 missile battery systems, which are the Silkworm missile ships, which are anti-tank, and other missile systems, including probably some hypersonic missiles somewhere inside Iran that we have not HK'd yet because we can't find them. We don't want to put a frigate, we don't want to put a destroyer in the middle of the top of the Gulf and literally play sitting ducks. Leeroy, your thoughts on this guy?
Well, if you could, go ahead and put his original tweet back up.
Yep, I'll get it.
I just want to make sure I get his name right. You said he's a senior chief?
Ex-senior chief. His name is...
You said the guy, Malcolm?
Malcolm Nance.
Malcolm Nance?
Yeah.
Okay. You know, his photo, he didn't look that old, but here's the thing. And what you're describing, Matt, is spot on. What he is missing is that there's a huge disparity between the mines that Iran would potentially use today and the technologies that we've been able to forward on and pursue since way back when. What Iran has today is a lot of old Soviet era, Soviet bloc style mines that weren't that complicated then. And a mine is not like it's a highly complicated thing to begin with. Some of them are. But the point is that that's mostly what they have. And they have a lot of them, I won't get into specifics, but that being said, since then
6,000.
we have developed so many different forms of countermeasures and ways to track these things, ways to negate them and to basically make them worthless. That I think maybe he has overlooked that.
Yeah.
And Malcolm, if you're watching, I'm a intelligence analyst, chief petty officer as well. I've been around the block, been doing this a long time, 22 plus years. So I would say that you're not wrong in that the first 3/4 of what you have tweeted, you're not wrong. But when you say that the Navy is absolutely not ready for this, I would just I would caution you against that. There's been so many advancements since you've gotten out that I think we're more than capable of this.
Yeah.
Generally speaking, when the media likes to rag on the Navy, likes to harp on the Navy's ability to make new ships and to float new platforms, that's more of a shipbuilding thing, not necessarily the capabilities of the ones that we still have that are still commissioned, right? Yeah.
Leeroy's
I'll
being
leave it at that.
diplomatic. Leeroy's being diplomatic because he's a fellow member of the Tan Brigade. That's why. So it's called professional courtesy. It's a fellow chief. Now I can call this guy a complete fucktard, but Leeroy will not do that because he's chief.
No, I wouldn't.
He wouldn't do that. And Malcolm, let's put it this way: his service is exemplary. His takes are very clickbaity, and he likes to exaggerate his career just a little bit for most people. You can go look at him, dude. You'll understand. We call this guy back in the day, and I think Leeroy will know what this means. A fobbit.
I've not heard that one.
Oh, so a forward operating base intel guy.
Okay.
Yeah. So stays in the fob, doesn't get outside the wire, and it's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But we all have pictures of us riding in a Black Hawk. We all have pictures of us with small arms and rifles. We all have pictures of ourselves in tactical gear. But it doesn't make us SEALs, and it doesn't make us Marines, and it doesn't make us Force Recon, and it doesn't make us IDF. It makes us intel guys who ran around with guys who did that sort of thing, and we needed to be qualified to at least do those at a very amateurish level, so we didn't blow anybody's dick off. Very different than that.
Hey man, I'm one of them. I've never been outside the wire. I've been plenty forward mobilized. Like I've been all over Africa and I've been into some pretty gnarly places, but I never left the security of the compound. So I am exactly what Matt is describing there. And that's for good enough reason. I think a lot of the intel guys, especially when you get some years on them, they're not the kind of guys you're not going to send a nerd outside to defend everyone. If it gets to that point, the war is lost.
And let's be honest. I would never call Leeroy a fobbit because he's not posturing that he is anything but.
Yeah, I'm not.
There's the difference. But I also know that Leeroy's being very modest too. So my point is this, is that if you pretend that you're a frontliner, if you pretend that you're downrange, you better be able to demonstrate that in a combat scenario. Saying I'm in the Navy and I'm in combat, well, you better more than likely be a SEAL. You better be a corpsman. You better be a CB. Or you better be a rate that is activated and attached to a combat-ready team. And Leeroy and I have been attached to both of those things, but that still doesn't make us grunts. So, it's just that's my problem with him. And you'll go look him up, and you'll remember that other chief that you have a problem with, that other military. There's another chief that you just can't stand. Not a chief. He's Navy guy, and we've popped him up on the show a couple times, and you're not a big fan of him. I can't remember his name.
Oh, Chase. There's Chase Hughes.
Yes. That is Chase Hughes is a
liar, though.
He is
that's the problem.
So is this guy. So is this guy. You'll go see. All right. So yes, Leeroy, our Twitter is bad. Twitter is not working. We don't know what's going on, but we've got you here, and that's all that matters. You got us on Rumble. Ben Shapiro says, don't worry, Megan. I'd never ask you to protect me. You won't even protect Charlie Kirk's widow from the monster accusing her of murdering Charlie. Oh
my God.
So
Knives
Ben
out, folks.
Well, they've been out for a while. Megan has been going off on Ben, and Ben finally responded. Now, I don't like this high school drama, but you know, somebody said, hey, why do you bring this stuff up? Because it's in the news, and I'm going to show you these people's hypocrisy. Okay. So that's just the way this is going to be. Someone else says, why are you talking about the propaganda from that senior chief? Well, because that's how you destroy propaganda, by talking about the truth. You understand? Okay. Megan says, you think protecting Erica means calling out Candace? I think if you don't wish to call attention to a negative attack, don't call attention to it. Does that work for you, Ben? May I have your approval now? No, I don't think so. Because you and your little cohort of sick followers aren't mad about anything involving me and Erica Kirk, who you barely know. Trust me, I've checked. You turned on me when I wouldn't defriend Tucker, whose criticism of Israel you can't stand, and when I defended Candace's questioning about whether Charlie, before he was killed, was growing more skeptical of Israel. He was. You're right that at Erica's request. Okay, all right. You two need to get a room and play some dreidel or something. Like, just get it over with.
Get in the ring. Just get in the ring. Give Ben some, one of them headgear and you guys go a couple of rounds.
Yep.
Just get it out.
I think you guys just need to have sex. That's what I think. I think you guys got a lot of pent up sexual aggression.
Maybe.
Here's the thing. I over the last few days, I've had some videos that I've broken down and showed you some of the BDA and some of the videos that the military have been releasing. And there were a couple systems, weapon systems that were used that I did not talk about at the time, because as I was telling Leeroy pre-show, I wanted to go get cleared for some of these conversations, because I don't know if you guys want to know this or not. Maybe you don't want to know this, but I think Leeroy will tell you, you don't necessarily have to have a clearance anymore to see classified information at a level that you're not supposed to. It's out there. People just don't know what they're looking at. And that's the thing. So when I see something that I know is not in the open ether, I'm going to go get checked and make sure that what I'm talking about doesn't land me in Leavenworth or somewhere else. So I wanted to talk about this. You can figure out which video I was talking about and apply which munition this is for. So the U.S. Has used its new precision strike missile. It's called a PrSM for short, or a PrSM. That's the acronym, in battle for the first time. You saw them. I didn't point out which weapon systems they were, but you saw them several times in videos I've shown. It's a next generation surface-to-surface ballistic missile designed to replace the ATACMS. ATACMS is an Army-based weapon. It's used predominantly by the Army. Marines have a few too. U.S. has now deployed it for deep strike against Iranian targets from HIMARS launchers. Its range is 500 plus kilometers. That's once again, when I give you a range, it's not the exact ceiling or threshold. I'm giving you a variable compared to the 300-kilometer HIMARS, with future versions planned for 1,000 kilometers. I will let you know that we are closer to the long number than the short number, is what I'll tell you. The payload consists of 200 pounds, 91 kg high explosive fragmentation, unitary warhead. It is less than a Tomahawk. But if you get that thing pretty much close to your target, it ain't gonna work anymore, especially boats.
The military has been working on several new classes of weapons they've been doing this for a long time. Weapons development is kind of our thing. So when we hear about China, Russia, India, or whoever is coming up with all of these awesome new weapons that a lot of those are currently being evaluated. They're being examined for weaknesses, or we're looking at things like ranges or, flight profiles. What we never hear of is the stuff that we're developing. And there's a good reason for that. There's so much of it that it's in development. And that's kind of what I was referring to when I was talking to, what was that guy's name? The senior chief with the mining.
Malcolm.
Malcolm. There has been so much developed just in the last 5-10 years that is from my old eyes and experience, is frightening. Like, some of the advancements that we have made is terrifying.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's not that guys like Malcolm don't know what they're talking about. That's not my point. My point is that when I was in intelligence, I spent a lot of time listening. And when I got out of intelligence, I spend even more time listening. And most intel people, even though I can talk a hell of a lot, when I get with Leeroy and we start talking, there's times where I'll listen, and then there's times where I'm engaged in the conversation. And when I get excited, I tend to lead that conversation. He does a lot of listening. He's an active listener. And there are times where I can be a passive listener. But when I know somebody's talking about something with superior knowledge, I usually listen. And I had a chance to listen to Malcolm today. He's not a stupid person. He's a very intelligent person. I think he allows his politics to get into the way of his assessments, like a lot of people do. And that's something you have to disassociate from if you want to be really, really good at your job. That's my point.
That's a bias that's embedded in everyone to some degree. And it's probably some level of bias combined with some level of, and I'm not using the word in a negative connotation, but I'm going to say the word ignorance, not because in any way his abilities aren't there. It's just been so much time that has passed since he had gotten out to what we're looking at today, that there's been so many new developments that he just may not be fully aware of.
And you got it. Let me ask you a question. When it comes to my modern knowledge for weapon systems, okay.
I'm impressed with your analysis half the time. Like,
okay, so
you're able to rattle off stuff that I'm like, oh yeah, I wasn't even tracking that.
So there's a trick to that, and that's being friends with people who are in the know, and then asking the question, "Am I allowed to talk about this?" And then after they say yes, you go, okay, now I'm going to check 3 other people to make sure I can talk about this and go through the proper channels. So my knowledge is because the information, you can't do the things we do as a country and keep it a secret. Not anymore. You just can't. I showed you guys the flying of the B-21. I showed them B-21. Did you show them B-21 in flight? By the way, it wasn't an F-16. It was a Growler. Sorry.
I was watching your video on that, and I'd seen several other videos as well. So it looked like that was probably the first one that had rolled off the line. And that being said, I mean, it was just another step in testing before the thing goes IOC.
But it's up, right?
Yeah.
And there's a reason, like I said, that Growler's there. So, a B-2, it doesn't matter. The point is, is that there are people who go, I've been in, and because I was in, I know everything I need to know. And then there's people that are like, I've been in, I'm out, and I still know everything. And the answer is no, you don't. So this is why Leeroy's here. This is why we bring professionals on this show. But anyway, we got a whole bunch of other stuff. Let's get it going. Let's go into UA map a little bit. Our good friend. This is the greatest tool for civilians. If you're a civilian, it's got great real-time information. Most of it is right to the minute. And I know you use UA. Is that right, Leeroy?
I don't.
No. Oh, wow. What a great thing. I'll let you have sign into my account. They're really cool. But about 2 hours ago, India, Prime Minister Modi tells the Iranian president essentially that they're a friend of Iran. That's not good news. Like, we don't like to hear that at all, because they're a nuclear power, and you don't want that at all. So that's going to create some ripples in the intel community for sure. And whoever's assigned to that AOR is just got woken up.
Yeah, so they will. Actually, what you will likely see is there will be some group of analysts who may not have ever looked at them before. All of a sudden, they're going to start trying to put together, all right, is there a threat here? Is there a what are their capabilities? Let's do just a quick assessment and figure out if this was just maybe simple miswording or if we need to
No,
worry.
yeah. And we know it's
You know what I
not
mean?
because Pakistan on the eastern side of Iran was ready to go, and Donald Trump called them off. But Western Pakistani forces were ready to invade, as were the Kurds in northern Iraq into Iran. And CIA had to tell them both to calm down. Well, if Pakistan basically says black, India's saying white. And if they say Pepsi, India's saying Coke. So the fact that a large group of Pakistanis were going to go into Iran, of course India is now going to back Iran. Yeah, that's just the way it is. They're yin and yang. So moving on, Saudi Arabia says that 72 of the 207 Iranian drones launched at their kingdom to date attempted to target the Shaiba oil field, which is in Riyadh. This is a very large oil field. It's one of the largest. And of course, they have U.S.-made integrated air defense systems around here. They have several different systems here. And I also got some information that might not be publicly released, but it is on the wire, which is South Korea has exported all of their American-based THAAD systems to the Middle East. And South Korea is not too happy about that. So looks like the U.S. has taken all their THAAD systems, their mobile launchers, and now have moved them into the Middle East. And they will be going to oil fields. They will be going to high soft targets like Sabah oil field. Leeroy?
I was not tracking any of that. So that's terrifying.
Isn't it? It's amazing what you can learn from this. Israeli army widespread wave of airstrikes begins in Tehran. So it sounds like Israel is going to have to go in sooner or later, and they'll probably go in from a special forces standpoint. And they're probably going to go into Natanz and Fort Au and the other previously hit sites. And then Quam also got hit too. Quam was building an underground reactor site for fission material, and that was in pre-production. That got just wasted and blown up. I showed you that. Everyone thought it was a Moab. It's not a Moab. It was a 57, 58 penetrator that just went down and just blasted that living thing to hell. Leeroy, you're going to say something. Go ahead.
No, I wasn't.
Okay. All right. So that's the news. That'll get you up there. We've got a whole bunch of other stuff to do. So the first thing I want to do is Scott Pressler on the SAVE Act. Scott went on Fox News and wanted to talk about the SAVE Act, and it's a good video. Just kind of explains what the SAVE Act is, and this should put pressure on the Senate Majority Leader. It looks like they're going to try to call a vote and get the Democrats on record to vote against this, which we know it's not going to pass because of the filibuster, but they're not talking about doing the long-form talking filibuster motion on this to force the Democrats to actually have to put some skin in the game here. And this is going to create a problem. It's going to create a problem that's massive, because the SAVE Act is a massive piece of legislation that needs to be out to secure our elections. We understand this, but Democrats have the upper hand, and it looks like the Republicans don't want to do anything about it. Here's Scott Pressler.
I want to clear up any confusion. The Save America Act would employ the SAVE system, which stands for the Systematic Alien Verification for Entitlements. Let me be clear. No registered voter that is currently registered to vote, Martha, will have to re-register to vote. What will happen under the SAVE system is any lawful legal voter will have their American Social Security number go through the SAVE system. And so long as they are lawful, so long as they are a legal American citizen, they will be able to stay on the voter rolls. And so when Senator Chuck Schumer says that tens of millions of Americans will be removed from the voter rolls, did he say the quiet part out loud? Did he allude to the fact that perhaps tens of millions of non-citizens are on the voter rolls? Anyone that is only for Americans being registered to vote cannot be against the Save America Act. And so we are going full steam ahead.
What is your...
Well, look at...
So
perfectly stated too.
Yeah,
perfectly stated.
He's running.
Because the opposite side of that coin is that Chuck Schumer then is basically saying, look, if you do this, you have X number of voters that are currently registered, currently in voter rolls, that shouldn't be voting that you're telling us that they can't vote. Right. That's the part that should terrify everyone. It sounds like Chuck Schumer is trying to do everyone a solid and say, look, you're going to disenfranchise voters. No, what you just said was that you have a certain number of voters who are currently voting illegally, and you want them to continue to allow to have that happen. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, we did a video on it. Absolutely true, 120%. So it's like you're either saying that 10 million or 20 million people cheated in the last elections, or that 20 million people are going to cheat in the future elections. Which one is it? You can't have it both ways.
Right.
So I was asked by Kevin, Matt, how do you feel about Israel Special Forces? Sayeret Matkal, they're an intelligence base. They're more of a counterintelligence and human intelligence gathering organization. They do hostage rescue, strategic counterterrorism. They're closer to Delta. They're exceptional. I would put them top tier. Probably one of the top 5 elite forces in the world. Shayatet 13 is the top. They are U.S. Naval Special Forces, essentially. They're SEAL teams. They're maritime counterterrorism, shipboarding, underwater demo, coastal raids. They're SEALs. And then Shaldeg is what it's called, and they're essentially force recon. They are full of reconnaissance, human intelligence. They'll do black bag operations. They'll do high value target assassinations and things to that effect. Yamam is domestic terrorism hostage group. They're more of like high end border patrol or a QRT type specific, kind of like the FBI hostage rescue team, the HRT team. That's very similar to what they're like. I will, Matt, how do you know? Well, spend a little bit of time working with a few of them. And I will also tell you that most of our special operators work over in Israel religiously. They work together. They're trained by our special forces units. So Israel has a mirror of all of our special forces and our soft guys. And they even have a form of MARSOC, and they are exceptional at what they do. I would put them up there with probably outside of Spetsnaz and British SAS or RAF commandos. I'd put them right up there in the top 3, top 4 echelon. So to answer your question, I don't know if you had anything you want to add to that.
No. Wouldn't add anything. I've never had the privilege of working with any of them. Most of my experience does not come in the form. It comes in the form of like working with UCOM and or ONI.
Roger. Once again, knowing and working with are two different things. So my relationships were built on mutual exchanges and introductions and some softline friendships, but those guys do unbelievable shit. I mean, here's an example. Most SEALs prior to 2000, about 1% of SEALs actually saw combat. Prior to 2000, about 100% of Special Forces Israelis have seen combat. Their regular army and regular IDF, almost to a person, has seen combat. In fact, there's probably more women in IDF that have seen combat than Special Forces teams. Prior to 2000. Yeah, it's insane. They chew dirt, drink the water, and they get into the shit. Okay, Matt, how do you feel about an immigrant getting a tactical gun bill passed in Virginia? I think the SCOTUS is going to shoot it down. I think it's going to go on her desk. I think Spanberger is going to sign it. And I think, once again, they struck it down in 91. They struck it down in 2003. They struck it down in 2017. They're going to strike it down again. But the point is, they're going to keep trying. And Spanberger's ruining this country, or this state, and so is the Democrat Party. Tanker hit in the Straits of Hormuz. So there right now, I believe it's a total of 4 tankers have been attacked. And if you guys remember, I told you that China was going to do something last night. I talked about this, and I said as soon as a Chinese tanker is hit in the Straits, China's going to do something. You guys remember this last night? I hope you do. There was quite a few of you on. Here is the tanker getting hit. We'll kind of explain what this is. And Leeroy, get your ears on because you're going to need to hear your audio for this one.
Allahu Akbar! Allahu Akbar! انهدام نفتکش امریکایی در محدوده شمال خلیج فارس. درود بر جمهوری اسلامی ایران. خدمتگزاران نیروی دریایی سپاه پاسداران انقلاب اسلامی.
So unbelievable. So the question is do we believe that these two guys, I hear three different voices, put a submersible in the water and went after this vessel? Because they're certainly cooking, and they got two outboard motors and they're cooking. But if you listen to it, I hear two explosions. Oh, by the way, folks, we didn't even talk about this. Donations. Show goals tonight, 300. You go to thedumbshow.com/donate, help the show. Sorry, I wasn't even focused on that. We're 43 minutes in and we haven't gotten a donation yet. Sorry. Here is listen to it again. How many explosions? How many weapon systems do you think?
Counted two there.
See, so did I. So they had redundancy. So they went in and did a first soft hit with the first explosion to weaken the outer perimeter of the hull, and then coasted another drone right into it to hit twice. That sounds too mechanical for me. That sounds like two main explosions.
And if you listen to it again, it's if you had, say, one that was a drone and one that was a mine, they would sound very different, but that's not what we heard. What we heard were two very similarly detonated explosions. So I'm saying that was the same type of weapon, bomb, whatever the case was, used within a second of each other.
Yeah, and I think this is essentially an unmanned submersible. It makes sense to me. These things actually do look like torpedoes that float above the surface, or about 10 feet above them. I told you about them. They're all lithium-ion based. They've got, depending upon the shelf life, anywhere from 6 hours to 72 hours of swim time. They can move about 25 knots under the water, and they have a very, high end of explosives on the front nose cone that can definitely penetrate a ship. And if you listen to it, Leeroy's right. This is exactly what I thought. Two, almost sequential, one behind the other. Here we go again. Yeah, so that's what it looks like to me. This shit's not going to fly. Like, those two guys, I promise you, are cooked, and they're going to get lit up. And there's UAVs all in the Straits, and they're watching for this. And I guarantee those guys got a hellfire right up their keister. Your thoughts on this, man? I mean, how long do you think Iran could do this? Is it indefinite, or do we think 2 weeks before we get those coastal batteries, and then we cut off the lower west end and the lower east end of the Straits, and essentially just have roving frigates ready to fucking light up anything that moves?
So, how long is this going to go on? I'm not entirely sure. What I would say is that if you are Iran and now you have started targeting other oil tankers that are headed to China, I mean, you're pissing off your own customer. Yeah. So to some degree, whereas China might have been on your side before because they were looking to get whatever oil they can out of you, that is, what do they say? 90% of the oil that left Iran was headed to China, but that's not all that China imports. There's other countries that are involved. There's other tankers that are involved, either by way of the shadow fleet, either coming from Russia or wherever else. Doesn't matter. Now what you've done is you've effectively alienated probably the one country that is not only your customer, but also a country that is potentially supplying you with military tech that you could use to fight America. So I saw this as just a terribly dumb move. I don't know, man. What they're thinking.
Well, China released a statement. It's funny you say that because that's exactly what I predicted last night when we were talking about this. Bubba says it's a one bomb explosion. It's not. I've listened to the sound profile. At the 20 megahertz to about the 6 megahertz range, it drops off, which is where you're going to get your refraction from a metal hull of a ship. That is the only thing that was out of the difference between the two separations of sound. They were almost identical in the blast frequency minus that lower high pitch end frequency. Excuse me. The 200 to 160 range, opposite. Down 20 megahertz is your low frequency. High frequency, 160 to 120, had dampener in it, and the sound profiles were different, which shows me that once the hole was breached, you would not get an exact same explosion profile unless the exact same circumstances were there, and it showed that there was obviously a massive breach in the hole. If you look at it, you can see the photos afterwards. You could drive a truck through it. So I believe it was hit twice. I don't think it was an echo. And by the way, if that was an echo, you guys understand it's moving at the speed of sound, and with an explosion can even move faster than the speed of sound. So and you're only a couple hundred feet away. It's not going to take that long for that sound to get to you if it's a secondary sympathetic explosion. Report would vary on the second one if it wasn't the same. And the sound profiles are almost identical, minus the higher end frequency pitch, which would explain hitting a hole or reverberating off of metal or possibly bouncing off the docks. And I saw the after action report. It was two submersibles, just FYI. Okay. We're not going to spend more time on this. Here is China's response. Exactly what you would think, exactly what Leeroy said. Listen to this.
I have not seen this yet, by the way, so that's kind of reaffirming for my part.
Yeah, we got to get it to play, though. Why isn't it playing? Hold on.
He has spent 50.
What? It worked earlier. Hold on. Replace asset. Go to show content. Where is it? Okay. I don't know why it won't play.
Well, it doesn't matter. I can tell you what the guy is basically about to say.
Go ahead and tell him.
Because they're putting so many floating assets, floating oil tankers at risk, right, that China is going to condemn the actions, right, of that attack, and that will probably call into question it'll put Iranian supplies in jeopardy. China will probably not support any sort of military actions anymore, right? That would be my guess. And they will condemn the actions, and they may actually end up getting on the side with the Americans. Because if you think about what's happening, the United States Navy is there as a force to protect the navigation of the seas, to protect the freedom of navigation of the seas so that trade can continue. Now, we're only going to endorse the legal trade. And China wants everything, but that's not the point. My point is that if we're there to protect all of these shipping passageways, then China is probably going to get in our court real quick and say, look, they're kind of trying to protect our interests. They're trying to protect our supply of energy. That's kind of a shitty deal for Iran. Shouldn't have done that.
Yeah, they're not too happy with this. I'm trying to find the video if I can. Yeah, I don't know why it's not playing. I haven't had that problem. You know what? I know what I can do. That's why I always keep secondaries, just in case. This new program. Kevin Bedard, $20. Kevin, thank you, buddy. Thank you, Matt. Kevin. You're welcome, pal. This is why we have redundancy, folks. And I've got it right here for you. This new system we're using is really cool. First time we've had an issue with a video, and I don't know why with the coding, but that's okay. But you notice how they're now in overlay windows, and we can have a background, and it's not taking up the full screen, and it's not all discombobulated. So it's kind of a cool thing. Here is the video in a second here, if I can get on this damn thing. Here it is. All right, and now I got to pop up this window and make this secondary display, and we can hear it. There we go. Here it is.
China does not agree with the attacks on Gulf states and condemns all indiscriminate attacks on civilians and non-military targets. The urgent task is to immediately cease military operations and prevent further expansion of the conflict. The solution lies in returning to dialogue and negotiation as soon as possible and striving to restore peace. The fundamental solution is to jointly return to the right track of abiding by international law and the basic norms of international relations.
That's pretty much standard. That's what we said last night. That's what Leeroy just said just now without hearing it. It makes sense for China to do that because I told you the moment that Iran got froggy. Anon Leeroy, happy to see you are feeling better. Hi, Matt. Come on, dummies, get busy. Jane Bush donated $25. Thank you, Jane. We appreciate you. This is exactly what we expected. This is what China does to North Korea. And Iran is going to, trust me when I say this, they're going to try to interrupt the Straits of Hormuz. That's really their only play here. They have a limited time to do that, and China will set the record straight. If you don't stop, we stop giving you intel. We stop giving you intel. We stop giving you targeting coordinates. We stop giving you targeting coordinates. We start giving you eyes on the sky. And you guys will never have a supreme leader ever again, because every time you do, the Jews are going to kill you guys. So China will send the message very, very clear. Lobster tails. Oh, we got another one. Deborah McLaughlin, 2653.
Thank you, Deborah.
Welcome back,
Thank you
Leeroy.
so much. It's nice to be back. Thank you very much, Deborah.
Lobster tails. These people absolutely suck. We're going to tell our lobster stories, lobster and steak, because surf and turf takes place. It happens all the time in the military. All the time. I can tell you every deployment I ever had, we would have surf and turf right before. Every time that we were going to go do something where there were some questionable things that took place that weren't SOP, we would get surf and turf. Whenever our unit got a battle E or we went ahead and did something to achieve success, we would get surf and turf. Same thing for you, right? I mean, you're a chief, so you guys get lobster and steak every night.
No.
That's the
best damn thing. The best damn thing you could ever hope for on the ship is just a simple peanut butter, an unmolested peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
Yeah. Like, you guys think that like chiefs, I did 1 week in the chief's mess, for what the hell is it called? Come on. First 90 days on the ship.
Cranking.
Mess crank. So my crank, now I didn't do much time, as you guys have heard the story, because I got on vacation in the middle of mess cranking, which is probably the only sailor in the history of the U.S. Navy to do so without getting killed. But yeah, I did a week in the chief's mess, and it's not all lobster. It's nice. It's very lovely. It's very nice. And you get to learn a lot, and you actually can punch your ticket fairly well with some of those chiefs if they like you. And if they don't like you, they can also screw you for the rest of your career. So something to think about.
Chiefs have quite a bit of pull.
They do. Lobster tails, folks. Here it is.
He has spent $15 million in 1 month for ribeye steak, $6.9 million for lobster tail, $225 million for furniture. He spent more in the month of September than most countries on earth spend in their defense.
Paul, do you believe
all
that, do you
for
believe,
himself? Lobster tails?
Do you believe,
while our troops are eating MREs?
No.
Do
you believe the Secretary of Defense is personally eating all the lobster?
Well, he can't eat
16.
Troops. Oh, really? The troops are getting lobster
frequently.
Brothers Defect has steak.
This reminds me of the Kane Mutiny of the missing strawberries.
Lobster. How's your steak and lobster?
All right. Damn, you're decent.
How's yours?
I'm ready for war.
We're going to war.
Theater.
My God.
Troops who are going to war.
Oh, my God.
Great meal. You know that.
They're getting lobster. You are so full of it.
Killed over this.
You're
going to get killed over this. Internet, do something.
I might have to double it.
Can I explain something? First of all, the lobster is always like rubber, and it's not good.
Yeah.
And you don't even have any clarified butter because they give you real butter. It's just not the same, but it's overboiled because they steam it and it stays in there forever. And the steaks, they're not broiled. The steaks are not barbecued. They are boiled.
No. Yeah.
They boil them. They put them in a beef bouillon and they boil them. And they come in a saute.
What you mean, Matt, is they're sous vide. They're sous vide.
Dude, they taste like a boot. and the steaks are not good. Every one of them are well done. They're boiled to hell. So I don't want to hear this bullshit. Everyone think this isn't the Air Force, folks. It's not submarine food. Submariners actually eat really, really well. They get some good food, but Air Force gets great food. But the Navy, after 3 to 4 weeks of deployment, everything sucks. Your milk sucks. It's sour powdered milk. You get powdered eggs. Everything's shit. It's just literally you're getting Kung Chung King surprise half of the nights or meatloaf. It's not great, folks. It's just not great. Leeroy, your favorite surf and turf story?
Oh, I've got plenty of those, but I'm more than that. I'm going to say that there's a deeper issue at play here. When you're dealing with mainstream media, the one thing that they're never going to get quite right is get into the mindset of a sailor soldier. It's funny. I was watching this video. This is just last week, where somebody was trying to replicate the recipe for ice cream during World War II. Specifically, it was a Navy formulation to be served to everyone who was forward mobilized. And the president at the time, or maybe it was the Secretary of the Navy, had basically said, look, there is no greater boost to morale than good food. And so when you're talking about the potential to forward mobilize all of your guys, you're asking them to go do a very dangerous mission, right? And I think it's only befitting that occasionally they get some goods. They get some lobster tail, they get a steak, they get some ice cream, I hope.
You think?
Right? And so for the media to shit on that and to basically say, oh no, Pete Hegseth himself is consuming all of this lobster tail when that's clearly not the case. This is just a prime example of why you should never watch mainstream media and take it to heart. You should never listen to what they're saying and say, oh my God, I now have to clutch my pearls and have this fabricated moral outrage, because they get it wrong all the time.
Do you people even understand the luxury of what you've got? And do you know how difficult it is when you're deployed on a vessel to just to find a Twix bar? Or maybe you just want to get up and get a glass of chocolate milk, but you can't. Because the mess hall's locked down at fucking 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock at night, and nobody gets any food in there unless you know the Filipino army and you've literally sold your second born into the Filipino army. You're not getting shit. The Filipino
mid-rats
mafia
is not a thing normally.
No,
mid-rats is only a thing when they have the additional supplies on hand.
That's right.
9 times out of 10, it's not necessarily available. It kind of is, but
you know my point.
I mean, unless you're willing to get up at 11 o'clock. And think about the hours that these guys work. They're working 12 on, 12 off. So if you go to have mid-rats, right, it's because you're potentially working. Nobody's going to get up just to go eat snacks at midnight.
But mid-rats isn't good. It's warmed up shit from fucking chow.
It's terrible.
It's warmed up. Dude, mid-rats sucks because the afternoon
it's
when
not
you get...
good.
If you get mid rations from breakfast, essentially the eggs are they've turned to a yellow snot color. The bacon is completely white from being soaked in its own fucking water juice. The sausage patties are falling apart, and all the bagels and all of the bread are stale because it's not real fucking bread and bagels. It's all preservatives.
Right.
Like mid-rat sucks.
Get the spaghetti. When you get the spaghetti, by the time that happens, the noodles are either completely dry or they've been completely just bathed in tomato sauce. Right.
Well,
and so you're this is not good.
Or they didn't put saran wrap on it. So what happened is they stuck a freaking hot tin inside the fridge and condensation. So half the spaghetti's filled up with water. Yeah, this is what happens, guys. This is what it's like on a vessel. And I'm not complaining. We ate well in the Navy. Shore was great. We had some of the greatest places in the world, and forward operating bases on FOBs. Oh my God, it's all fucking barbecue and pizza and artisan type pizza shit. I mean, some of these things that they make are incredible. I don't even know if there's a FOB without a grill and a ceramic pizza oven on it. I don't even know if they exist without it. There's good food there. That's not what I'm saying. But military people, we work our asses off. And because there's nothing else to do on a ship but work. We work 6 days on. We wouldn't even, and you know what we do on our day off? Sleep and do laundry. Because we can't do it any other time. You basically sleep and do laundry, and you sleep while your laundry's going. There's nothing like the rhythmic hum of a freaking sauna washer and dryer unit on a ship, because it's literally the hot. It's harder than the freaking the boiler room, which aren't any boiler rooms anymore. But I'm talking like you walk into a laundry inside of a ship, it goes 24 hours a day. It's like 175 degrees in there, and the walls are just covered with snot from condensation. It's not great, folks. It's not great. So
anyway,
if we
my point was that, like, for your average sailor and soldier, right, really what they can kind of hold on to is the hope that of the two meals that they're probably going to eat that day, because likely the other 12 hours they're going to be sacked out or doing laundry, like Matt said. So really you get 2 good meals, hopefully. And hopefully those 2 decent meals is something like a lobster, or because the rest of the time it's sliders, it's hamburgers that are not good,
Salisbury steak,
or it's something like Chinese
Salisbury
night,
steak.
which is
Salisbury.
Oh,
it's celery and noodles with freaking with like
right.
chicken glaze, and it's because there's no chicken in it.
So for the mainstream media to say, "Oh my God, we spent X number of dollars on lobster tails and steaks, what a travesty." No, they deserve that.
Yes, we do. So now that we understand, and we've explained to you the way it needs to be, and even that lobster and that steak isn't that good, because you're sitting there and you're like, oh my God, I'm going to get a ribeye. This is going to be the greatest. It is not a ribeye. It is literally, you know what they do? This is the shit that they do. They take a rosemary leaf and they drop it in, and they put beef bouillon in it. And it's the base. It's essentially, and then you'll get that steak with a piece of that rosemary leaf on it, and you'll cut into it, and it tastes like licorice leather shit. It's not good, but you know what? It's all we have to call our own. So just leave our military food alone. And if we want some fucking lobster and steak, that's the least you could do. You know what? Stop thanking me for my service and just let me have my lobster and steak, and we'll be good, okay?
Right.
Don't thank me ever again. Just give me my lobster and steak and STFU. What do you want, Kevin?
I can't help but call in a comment.
Yeah.
My son was in the Marine Corps. Yeah. I'm sorry. Excuse me.
Go ahead, Kevin.
My son was in the Marine Corps in Afghanistan. And when he came home, I said, yeah, I'd like to try one of those MREs. And he said, no, you don't, Pop.
No.
Maybe the peanut butter.
No. Yeah, the peanut butter.
That bastard, the guy that said that on national TV should be chained to a table and made to survive on MREs for 1 week. 1 week.
Huh. Well,
that's it. That's all I called in for.
Well, I appreciate it, Kev. Liv's going to be really happy that you didn't call in on a Wednesday or a Monday or a Friday.
Son of a bitch.
Son of a bitch. You're in trouble. You're going to hear about it for a week. All right, man. I love you. Talk to you. Bye. See you, Kev.
Thanks, Kevin.
Bye-bye. All right. So somebody said, hey, Midrats, mainland China. Listen, I served in mainland China. I get it. I was in Yokosuka. Did a little bit of time in Okinawa. We were in Oahu. Or not Oahu, Okinawa, Yokosuka, and Hokkaido. Okinawa or Oahu, the different type of Japan. But Brian, I'm not saying all mid-rat sucks, but when you're deployed, mid-rat sucks. Like when you're on a vessel, mid-rat sucks. It doesn't suck on food doesn't suck anywhere on.
Like on a DFAC, it might be all right.
Yeah, no. Like on a base, it doesn't matter if you're in Japan, you're in Germany, it doesn't matter. Yeah, Ramstein had great food. Yokosuka had great food. Coronado had great food. Little Creek had good food. Norfolk had good food. Kings Bay, Georgia has great food. Bremerton, Bangor, all had great food.
Well, you know what? Let me tell you the difference between places like that, places like Norfolk, places like Pensacola, and then being forward mobilized. And it's going to sound stupid, but this makes a world of difference. Salad bar.
Oh, yeah.
9 times out of 10, the salad bars, if there is one, the salad bars that you might get when you're forward mobilized, it's pulled from local, and so it's like nothing that you're ever used to. Right? You'll see some like weird green thing that you're like, I don't even know what that is.
It's parsley.
And then there's the things, yeah,
it's parsley or celery stalk is your salad, because that was what was
and that's
on
if
sale.
they have one at all. Yeah, that's if they have one at all.
Yeah, so folks, eating in the military is not a horrible thing. It's just you get used to it, and some are better than others. But man, I remember when our captain, he was such a magoo. He would come out and he would get over the 1SQ, and he would be like, "Ladies and gentlemen, I want to let you know tonight in the mess hall is ice cream social." And what sucks about Intel is we would run split 12-hour watches, and he would always run the ice cream social 1 hour after our shift was done. So we would get there and they'd be like, "How many scoops you want, sailor? 1 or 2? And I'm like, "I'll do 2, sir." Picks it up. Drip.
Yep.
You get an ice cream cone full of fucking melted ice cream. It's soup. And they're like, "Here you go, put that in a bowl." Yeah. You're just like, so you would crunch it up and you just drink your ice cream. That was your ice cream social. And the units that were really important, Marine Corps that were on the ship, they never got to eat. OSs never got to eat. Flight crew never got to eat. And that's just the way it was. So ice cream socials for us was soup. That's just the way it worked. You know, hey, would you like a little rainbow sprinkle on the vanilla and strawberry shake you got there? Sure. Oh, we're out of rainbow sprinkles. How about pecans? Damn it, we're out of those too. Have another spoon. Have 2 spoons. That's almost the same
9
thing.
times out of 10, there's no cones left, right?
Yeah.
There's nothing like that. And because when you're forward mobilized, real dishes aren't a thing. So really, when we had our ice cream socials, which were on Fridays, almost exclusively, it was either Fridays or Saturdays, because one night was ice cream night, then the other one was beer, right? Yeah. But when it would be ice cream night, there's no bowls, there's no cones, there's nothing like that. So literally what you would get is soft serve that was half melted in a paper cup and a spoon.
And that cup was recycled paper, so it lasted about as long as a Starbucks straw. Yeah. Mel, you wanted to talk about we're on deployment night. We've got a lot to do. So Mel, give us what you want to talk about, sister.
Oh yeah. Well, I was a Vittler on one of my boats. And for those that don't know what a Vittler is, I was the grocery girl. I was in charge of all the groceries on the ship. Anyways, what people don't know or understand is, think about your own refrigerators. You buy milk, it may last 90 days, maybe, depending on how long the shelf life is, whatever. So you think about a 3-month or 6-month or 9-month deployment, and resupply at sea is not an easy thing. So if you're not going into port every 90 days to get milk, fresh veg, and bread, you're screwed. So you're going to have something called UHT milk, which is probably, it is the bestest shit in the world. Just, I want to throw up every time I say those 3 letters. Yeah. So you knew how long you were at sea when you saw the Tetra packs of UHT showing up to put on your cereal or your whatever, and you're like, oh Christ. And of course the first victim is the Vittler going, "Where's our milk?" Well, you can freeze milk, but when you take it out, basically it's only good for baking, like it separates and whatever.
Right.
And same with fresh fruits and veg. Yes, you can take 200 days worth of potatoes, onions, carrots, turnips, that kind of stuff. But it doesn't last. Like everything else runs. Like, you got less than 30 days, like for any fresh fruit.
Eggs.
Your strongest ones are your apples and your oranges, and you're going to eat apples and oranges until you look like a fucking apple and an orange, and you're sprouting things off your head. Like, oh yeah. So eating at sea is an art. And I don't know if you guys had the same whatever, but it got to the point, like, they had put green peppers into fucking everything.
Yes.
The oatmeal, you name it, green peppers in because it lasted longer than any other veg. So they would put it into everything.
Then you
It
get
was
the pepper. Then you get the
well,
pepper
and
farts,
the other thing was,
and your rack mates love you.
yeah, and oh yeah, and I don't know if you guys serve oatmeal on your boats, but
all morning, all day, all night. It's a staple. Oatmeal with dinner. Oh, always oatmeal. Always.
I know, but and what I can equate that to, so everybody can understand, when it sits or whatever, you can use it, and you can use it to plaster bricks and make a house out of it.
Yes, you can.
That's how it turns. Oh,
no,
it's yeah.
Yes, dude.
So,
The first thing they tell you when you're mess cranking is don't wash the freaking oatmeal down the pipes. Don't scoop it out, throw it in the trash, because if you do it, you're fucking going to be slodging and the mess. You're already wet, soaked, and horribly just you literally, like, your body's supposed to be like 92% water or something. But when you're done mess cranking, you're like 96. It's you look like Hollow Man. It's bad.
It's a miserable experience.
It sucks. Mess cranking's a shit. That's why I went on vacation.
Yeah, when I heard
you worked in the scullery, man.
When I heard that thing.
Yeah. Oh,
in the scullery?
Everyone does scullery.
Did?
Everyone does GU and scullery. What?
No.
See, I was on vacation. I had to do I had to do one day cleaning and washing dishes in the scullery. And that's what it's called, right? The scullery. Yeah, it's
scullery.
Yeah, the scullery.
Yeah.
So whenever I did that one day, and that's when I said, okay, fuck this, I'm going on vacation. And I paid people to finish the rest of I used my leave, went with my fiance who flew from the States, and I paid people $100 a day to do my mess cranking. And then after about 3 weeks, my Master Chief found out about it, and that's when I got called to the captains. And what happened is that her father was a colonel in the Air Force and didn't know where his daughter, she hadn't written him and hadn't called him from Japan. So I show up and he goes, IS-3 Spear, get your ass in here, reporting for her. Yeah, and he's like, do you know Lieutenant Colonel Bruce Wallace? And I'm like, sir, yes, sir. And he goes, why is he emailing me about one Darcy Wallace? I said, sir, she's with me, sir, off base. And he's like, for the short time that you're with us, Mr. Spear, on this vessel, do you think you might want to go ahead and call Lieutenant Colonel Bruce Wallace so he stops emailing me about where his little girl is? I said, sir, yes, sir. And he goes, Spear, get out of my sight. He's like, let me make sure I understand the last thing. You're on leave during mess cranking? And I said, sir, yes, sir. And he's like, oh, we're going to love you. And that was the last night. Great guy. I mean, he would take us on the Seahawk and we'd go play rugby while the ship was out in the middle of the water. He flew us out to Hong Kong. And so we would go Christmas shopping. I mean, this guy was one of the admiral and the captain of the ship loved us. We all played rugby. Great guy. But anyway. All right, Mel, wrap it up. We got to go. What else? What else do we need to know about being deployed?
No, it's just the longer you're at sea, the food becomes quite an issue, whatever, because you kind of get really, really hungry. And you guys are different because you guys lock your food down where on our boats we don't. So.
Oh, really?
We have changed. Yeah.
Well, I was on an LCC, cereal, so like unless it's pitch and 45, it doesn't matter because we just place so much fucking water in those things. And it was either an LCC or a carrier.
Because we always have. Yeah, and that's kind of the difference. Because I've cross-poled on an Aussie boat, and I've cross-poled over to an American boat when I was at sea, and it was really, really interesting because on our boats we have 3 choices. We have 2 whatever and a vegan choice every meal.
Oh my God! Sounds like
no ifs, ands, buts about it.
Yeah, that's a different type of military. That's a different type of military I've never been in. I don't know what that's like.
I will tell you this,
and that's why when we would have the U.S. boys on, because we would take a few teams and whatever with us doing different whatever, and they're like, "We're never leaving here."
No,
we had a beer machine and we had food, and they're like, "We're not leaving." So yeah.
All right, I got to let you go. We got a show to do. We got money to raise. I love you. We got to get you out of here.
Yeah,
see
love
you, sister. Bye.
Bye.
Love you, Mel. Folks, I got to go ahead, Leeroy.
Bye, Mel. One quick story, and it'll only take 10 seconds. When I was on that special vessel, Matt, you know which one I'm talking about.
I do.
this was the case where it was not a Gray Hull vessel. So when I went over there, I'm like,
oh,
so who does all of like the cooking and stuff? So as it turns out, there's a crew of like, 30 plus Navy folks on there. Who feeds them? Turns out they bring on actual chefs.
Yeah.
To cook for, the teams. And you're like, this is amazing. Like we had 7-layer cake and like that steak and lobster thing was a real deal.
Right.
It was amazing. That was the best food I ever had. That was more like a cruise.
Team guys always eat well. I'm just saying they eat like the officers do. They eat well. They should be treated. It's surprising enough. I haven't seen many officers booted from their quarters, but team guys, they live comfortably. Well, most of the time, unless, depends in the situation they're in, but most of them are treated with a high level of respect, and there's a level of deference for them. GU and Scully. Scully is just, the GU is like in restaurant terms, it's the wash station. It's where you have the glass washer and a Scully. We don't have washing machines and dishwashers in the military. You essentially have racks and you have water that's coming out at 175 degrees Fahrenheit. And you drop soap that basically you have to wear rubber gloves for, because if you touch the soap, it'll kill you. And your fucking hand will fall off from skin damage because it's a super abrasive soap. And this is what we put on our dishes. And then you rinse them off and then you stick them in a steamer, which kills all the soap, supposedly. And it is just a matter, and nobody cares. Nobody scrapes their plates. Nobody scrapes their dishes. You get caked on oatmeal, mashed potato night. Worst thing in the world. Oh, and then rice, because you've got to get every piece of rice off there. Otherwise, you back up your sinks, and you are literally there with a plunger just doing this. And then if it's rough seas, but not rough enough to secure chow, you're sitting just water everywhere. Dishes just, God. No wonder why I went on vacay. Here is Joey with a story from Fox.
In 2010 in Afghanistan, I was working with two other Marine EOD techs, Brian Smith and Chindo Mesa. We had been out all day long working some IEDs. It was difficult.
Real quick, Matt, did you re-enlist after 9/11? No. My injury would not allow me to re-enlist at the time. I was way too fucked up still. And I didn't truly recover until 2015, 2016. That's how long it took me. I was out almost 17 years before I fully got back to okay. And where I'm at now. Yeah. So no, I talked about it and I talked with Olivia about it. I'm like, listen, I'll get into contracting and extend it. But I was only out for like 9 months before 9/11 happened. So I was official at that point, and I looked at Olivia and we talked about it, but no, I did not.
Difficult day. We had a few really close calls that day. When we got back, we sat down, and I've got this picture of us just sitting on a ledge at Patrol Base Karma, and there's a stack of MREs behind us. And I remember Mesa looking at me and saying, man, I hope I don't get that chicken tetrazzini or something like that. Like, we've been out all day. It's a tough day.
See?
It's like, man, I thought we get a decent MRE.
We're all talking about, because there's no difference between the chung pao chicken and the chicken tetrazzini. There's no difference. They're the same thing. And the Mongolian beef, it's also the same thing. They're all the same thing. Nothing.
The only one that I can remember that everyone would fight over was the beefaroni.
Beefaroni.
That was the only good one.
Or the stroganoff. Beef stroganoff also was fairly popular with the noodles because the gravy was palatable.
And then somebody comes around the corner like, hey guys, it's steak and lobster night. It's surf and turf. A log train had come in, which was insane because the route was littered with IEDs. And now I've got another picture of the three of us eating steak in the room that we lived in later that night. What's funny is the look on our faces from the one picture to the other is about the same because we're in war. But after that day, for weeks, we talked about steak and lobster nights. The only one I've ever gotten overseas. It was in the middle of a really tough summer. Brian got blown up a few weeks later. He's not with us anymore. He died of stomach cancer last year. Then I got blown up a couple of months later. And you see these tweets. You see these tweets about, Pete Hegseth has spent $15 million on steak and lobster. Are you serious? That is the only thing about home, that's the only thing that makes you feel special for the entire time you're there watching your buddies die and you're mad about that. The fact that people aren't smart enough to even look up what that's for before they criticize it, and I guarantee you none of them said a word when Biden surrendered Afghanistan, killed 13 of us, or when the whole DOD spent tens of millions of dollars on going woke. Come on.
That guy has no legs.
Spot on.
That guy, and so many like him that I know, to see them smile and talk about their service, and what makes him smile. Leeroy and I are smiling. We're laughing. Mel's laughing. Everybody's talking about what it was like to be deployed or what it was like back stateside and eating food. There's things that bring us together, and there's things that help us reflect on our time with a positive attitude. And yes, ice cream socials, as stupid as that sounds, it was awesome. And and shell backing,
and needed.
Yeah, yep. Shell backing, amazing, unbelievable. Getting coined at a bar with a foreign military, drinking side by side with Russians or Chinese. Some of the best memories I've ever had. So, some things are worth it. And if you're going to sit here and pay for abortions and pay for free health care for people who aren't veterans, by the way, veterans before illegals. Are you fucking kidding me? Get the shirt. You can go over to thedumbshow.com and pick it up. Enough. I'm sick of it. I'm sick. So stupid. So this is a tradition. It's a military tradition, folks. Surf and turf, man. And God forbid that we have a Mongolian barbecue. Really, please. Please, because the only thing that's better than surf and turf is Mongolian barbecue night, which is also ridiculously good, but you only get it in 7th Fleet. Mongolian barbecue night is 7th Fleet. But it's amazing. And you would get it in Hong Kong. You get it in certain points in Australia. And you would get it in Korea. And they would bring, and you would go into port, and they would bring in these giant barbecue and steam pots, and you would be able to make your own Mongolian barbecue. You could do chicken, you could do beef, and then you get teriyaki sauce and all the vegetables, and it's amazing. It's ridiculous. Anyway, all right. Now I'm getting hungry. Robert Marlar donated $20. Good as his word. He said this morning when I talked to him, he's like, hey, did you get the donation? I said, nope. And he goes, I'll be there tonight to do it. And there he is. Thanks, Robert.
Thank you, Robert.
Hey, guess what, buddy?
What's up?
Greta Thunberg, whatever. She's not worried about the environment anymore. She's not worried about Israel and Gaza anymore. She's moved on to, can you guess just which one?
Girls.
Probably. But can you guess which crisis in a country she's latched onto? And of course, it's not going to be Iran. It's not going to be Iran.
Oh, really? No?
It couldn't be. No, because she'd be on the right side of something, right? So she can't latch on to Iran because they kill protesters. So is there any other hot spot in the world that you can think of that's really close to home? A little bit south of us?
Well, let's go with Venezuela.
Okay, fair. Let's listen.
We need to talk about what's happening in Cuba right now.
Shit!
As the Trump administration is waging illegitimate wars across the world, killing countless of people, it is also strangling the Cuban people.
She looks like the Dutch boy painter.
She totally does.
You know what she looks?
Why is everything beige, Greta?
She looks like
everything is beige. Why?
Looks like she's about ready to go full retard. Like, what was the one? Handsome Jack.
Oh, yeah.
Make me happy. Tropic Thunder.
Special Jack?
Was it Handsome
Jack or Special
Handsome
Jack?
Jack. No, Handsome. You're right. Handsome Jack is Borderlands. That's a video game. So
okay.
was it Special Jack? I don't care. Whatever.
Simple Jack.
Simple Jack. That's right. Simple Jack. You make me happy.
Methodically and openly. The pedophile Trump himself bragged about it, saying there's an embargo, there is no oil, there's no money, there's no anything. He said it like it was something to be proud of, while millions of people have been plunged into darkness by rolling blackouts, while hospitals lose power, while ambulances run out of fuel, while shelves go empty. The United Nations has warned of imminent humanitarian crisis. Intensive care units and emergency rooms are compromised. Newborns, the elderly, the sick, all paying the price. This is not an accident or an unfortunate side effect of some policy disagreement. This is the intended outcome. Since 1962, the US embargo has been designed, in the words of the US State Department itself, to bring about hunger, desperation, and overthrow the government. Now the Trump administration is escalating it further, plotting what they themselves have called.
So let me make sure I get this right. She said that Gazans didn't get food and water for 2 years, yet they're still alive. And now she's saying that Cubans haven't gotten water and food since 1962? Okay. All right.
A takeover of the island.
Can somebody teach her about the rules of 3? You can survive 3 minutes without air, 3 days without water, and 3 weeks without food. I don't know. It's just I read that somewhere, I'm sure.
We cannot be silent about this. Cuba did not stay silent when the world needed it. For over 60 years, Cuba sent its doctors to all
world ever
corners of
needed
the
Cuba?
earth. Cuban medical workers fought.
They've sent us a first baseman for the Yankees. I mean, that's really all that they've contributed
They make
to
a good
society.
cigar.
They make a great cigar, but we can't get them here legally.
In West Africa. They responded to disasters in Haiti. They trained generations of doctors from all over the world. When liberation movements were fighting for independence from colonial rule across Africa and much of the world was looking the other way, Cuba stood in solidarity, not just in words, but in action, with real material support. Cuba stood up for the world, and now it is time for the world to stand up for Cuba. On the 21st of March, the Nuestra America convoy arrives in...
Okay, yeah, I'm done. I'm not going to get lectured by a transvestite retard. Is that harsh? Listen, she's not a kid anymore.
No.
I left her alone when she was 14. I didn't say shit. I left her alone when she was 17. The moment that chick hit 18 years old, she became fair game and she's in the political fray.
Well, if you put yourself there as an adult, then guess what? You're fair game, homie.
What do we have to thank Cuba for? Elian Gonzalez? I mean, seriously. Like
nothing.
Okay. All right, good.
Nothing.
You know what? Abandon communism. How about that? Repudiate Russia and communism and completely absolve from it and dedicate yourself to the United States and ask us to annex you. And we'll be happy to. We will annex Cuba. No problem. We would love to. And you will have all the money you want. You'll have all the new cars you want. You'll have a nice, beautiful military. You'll get a new naval base. You'll get everything you want. Just let us annex your country. It's real simple. Just surrender communism and go to capitalism.
Well, that's exactly what I was going to say. It goes beyond that. It goes to the different forms of economics that can rule over the island. If what she's saying is that things are so terrible in Cuba right now, is that necessarily because of Trump, or is it because of their own economic system that has been self-imposed since the 40s, right?
1962.
Right, and so you're like, excuse me, if things are that bad and communism is truly failing them, then I don't know, maybe we could help persuade them to get themselves out of their, allow them to lift themselves up with their own bootstraps, right? And take on this new miracle thing called capitalism, right? And if
tourism.
the Cuban government, and if the Cuban government could back the hell off of their own people, right, and allow them to keep more of what they earn by way of their own labor, then guess what? People are they're gonna start working more, right? Because they're keeping part of that. That's going to lift everyone across the island. But they don't want that, nor does Greta.
You want to make Cuba the number 2 tourist destination in the United States? Open up
Disney
Cuba.
there.
Yeah, people will go to Cuba. Cuba's beautiful. They go to Hawaii.
Yeah.
You don't think people will go to Cuba? You're fucking gorgeous in Cuba. Why not? Of course they would. To get those cigars and to get some of that food, the women. Well, dude, Cuba, just come home, man. We'll call you we'll call you the Brown Florida. Okay? Just come home. Just stop this other bullshit. Hey, 143.24, almost halfway there. Hold on. Mello donated for 2 cases of UHT milk. Ugh. Oh, God. So
I imagine that in Cuba, every doorway has those 1970s beads that you have to,
right.
You know,
and then all this, there's
like
always
Gary Oldman in The Professional when he,
there's some English guy in there who's drinking, mojito, and he's like, yeah, baby, just in every bar. There's some Englishman out there.
Every ice cube in Cuba has got like a brown tint to it,
Oh, of course. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Listen, Cuba, you come on. Give us 5 years of infrastructure and rebuilds, and we'll have a bridge to Cuba. You think I'm kidding? We'll figure it out, man.
90 miles isn't that far.
The United States will put a bridge to Cuba, and they already have. They already have, don't they?
What?
It's not a bridge to Cuba, but where do they have a bridge to right now? Florida.
I don't know.
What's that waterway going to?
Oh, the Keys?
Yeah. It's going to the Keys, right? So that's where it's going to. But that's what
Mike
how many
Roch donated $12.34 via snail mail. Thank you, Mike.
Thanks, Mike.
I think you mean the Keys, right?
Yeah. It's just it's not a long bridge. It's like 10 miles, 9 miles, something like that. It's down in the Keys.
Yeah.
But okay, so do you think we could get a bridge to Cuba? Yes, we could.
Yeah.
Why not? Why not drive to Cuba? Do you know how amazing that would be? Where are you going to go today? I'm going to drive down to Cuba. 90 miles. You could take a hovercraft there. You could take a jumper there, a puddle jumper there. You could literally put 100 pontoon flyers and just take people for $150 a piece. Put 6 people in those and just fly them back and forth. And you, dude, the tourist industry would just blow up. Yeah, Florida Keys. That's what it is. Yep. So that's only 9 miles. Yeah, it's by NAS. Yep. So why not? Come on, Cuba. Come on home. Okay. Marjorie Taylor Greene and Tucker say Iran doesn't need nukes. No, not that they don't need them as in they can't have them, as that they don't want them. They don't want them. Ferry boats, 90 miles a little long. That's going to take some time. It's not like you're going to Coronado Island or something, 90 miles is a long time. You maybe get a hydrofoil. Get yourself something to do 180 on the top of the water. Just how about you zip line? How about a zip line? How about a rocket-propelled zip line? You know what? Why don't you make a speed tunnel? Why doesn't Elon make his freaking bullet tunnel that he's talking about? That will go like 395 miles an hour in a super tunnel. He's talked about making it. It doesn't matter. Cuba, sky's the limit, man. Come on over. All right.
And I'm being completely honest. There's no reason whatsoever that there couldn't be a fleet of ferries that run between Florida to Cuba, 5-10 of them that run, once every couple of hours and take a couple of 100 cars back and forth. There's no reason.
Vehicles,
that's a practical solution. That's a practical solution to draw thousands of people every year. It'd be great for their economy.
Cuba would become the destination. If they opened up Cuba and you put in $250 billion into infrastructure, that is going to be a $700-800 billion annual tourist location because the weather is always good, except for hurricane season. But that doesn't matter. That's neither here nor there. Do it. All right, let's move on. Marjorie Taylor Greene and Tucker saying that Iran doesn't want nukes, that they have no desire to achieve nuclear power when it comes to weaponry. Oh, really? Because I want you to listen to this.
ما اول که وارد این فعالیت هسته‌ای شدیم واقعا هدفمون ساخت بمب بود دیگه. ما تعارف که نداریم.
یعنی شما میگید هدف ساخت بمب بوده واقعا؟
100%.
هدف کی این بوده یعنی؟
کل نظام یا همه اونایی که این فعالیت رو شروع کردن واقعا هدف ساخت بمب بود. حالا که شروع کرده بودیم و دیگه می‌خواستیم کار خب اینو شما اگه میتونستیم اینو حفظش کنیم و بمب آزمایش می‌کردیم کار تموم شده بود مثل در پاکستان ما که شروع کردیم بعد تا آخرش
حالا اینه که شما میگید میگم چون ما تا حالا رسمی خیلی نشدیم کسی این صحبت رو کنه اینایی که شما میگید تبعاتی نداره مثلا مذاکرات و اینها به عنوان بالاخره کسی که
ما توجه نداره
با خارجی بالاخره پیدا میکنن.
Okay, so you're wrong. And real quick, I've been telling you guys that Tucker Carlson, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Candace Owens, Rand Paul, none of these people cared about Trump. None of them. Here is Thomas Massie and Marjorie Taylor Greene back in 2022 talking like Trump does not stand a chance ever to become president again the way that they're talking. Listen to this.
Back to Thomas's story.
How much of this do you want me to tell?
It's up to you.
Oh my gosh. I had President Trump yelling at me.
Oh my. It was in March of 2020. It was the shutdown. No one knew what COVID was going to do. Everyone was freaking out. They didn't know what the outcome was going to be. So President Trump was pushing through. Thomas Massie was trying to say, no, we have to do this correctly. We still have a constitution. It has not gone away. And I'm proud of him. I totally support him for what he did.
So he said he would, on the phone, he told me he was going to come at me like I'd never seen, never in your life before have you seen the way in which I will come at you.
Trump, that's awesome.
Yeah, he said, I'm coming at you like you've never seen, never in your life before have you seen the way in which I...
Dude, this guy went from a fat Bill Gates dork to like super beard and hair implants and tan, and now he takes money from Bill Gates. So they just acted like there was no chance that Donald Trump was ever going to be in office again, the way that they talked about him, the way that Massie ran against him. And I don't think either of them ever got over it. Here is Tucker Carlson, just to kind of expand on this, completely lying about what Donald Trump said. Andrew Bryant, $25. My youngest is 25 HMOS at Fort Gordon. He's 20 and takes fiber supplements because of the diarrhea-inducing food. It's not good food, dude. Let's put it this way. It builds a turd. If you drink coffee in the morning and then you have morning chow, you will be visiting the head within 15 minutes. That's a guaranteed. There is nothing like military coffee, and
military grade coffee is potent.
It
gets things moving.
It's 10:30 weight, dude. It's Valvoline. Yeah. Okay. JD Stillwell donated $15.42. Good to see you, Leeroy, Matt. Good evening. It is. It's great to have Leeroy back. Let's watch this. This is Tucker Carlson lying right through his teeth. Here it is. Do you like the new format, man? With the videos?
Yeah, I do.
Like, isn't it much cleaner? Isn't it? It's nicer. Yeah. All right, here we go.
The President of the United States today said on camera, we're thinking about using nukes.
No, he didn't. No, he did not. He didn't say that at all.
Against Iran.
Well,
he said we could eliminate
He
Iran.
should be able to quote that then, right?
Well, he's going
like,
to.
if the president actually said that, then...
Listen to this. Is that why there's so many veteran-owned coffee companies? No, it's because veterans all like to kind of copy each other, not gonna lie. And people see the multi-million-dollar Black Rifle and think that they can do it too, when Black Rifle's successful because of its marketing, and then they donate to Democrats.
Make it uninhabitable forever in an hour. We have weapons that can do that. Well, those are nuclear weapons. The President of the United States just saying out loud.
That's not what he said.
If this gets more intense, we could nuke them.
That's not what he said.
What more do you need to do militarily for this operation to end? More of the same, and we'll see how that all comes out. Right now, they've lost their Navy, they've lost their Air Force, they have no anti-aircraft apparatus at all, they have no radar, their leaders are gone, and we could do a lot worse to one another. We're leaving certain things that if we take them out, or we could take them out by this afternoon, in fact, within an hour, they literally would never be able to build that country back.
And again, there's been very little attempt to convince you that we did this in America's national interest.
Oh, you shut up, you putz. Leeroy, we're going to play a little game. And I'm going to get the game show that we're going to do. I'm building a game show for us, and it's going to be like Family Feud, top 10 answers on the board. We're going to bring people on, and it's going to have all the graphics. It's going to be great. I wish I had that right now, but I am building it. So you and I are going to play a little game. We're going to go ahead and list the ways that you could set Iran back essentially 25 years to rebuild without using a nuke. And I'm going to do the first one, okay? And then you can do the second one. Okay. So first one is you could go ahead and take Kark Island and would essentially take 80% of their oil productivity and shut down Iran financially to a point of no return. Now, if you destroy it, you're going to set them back forever. If you seize it, you're also going to hurt Iran to a point of no return until you allow them to have it back and have full productivity. So that's just one way. There's one. Okay, give me another one.
Well, I think you could make the case that by doing exactly what we're doing now, which is taking out all of their strategic military assets by way of radar installations, surface-to-air missiles, regular ballistic missiles, all of that, removing their Navy, the Air Force. Now they have to rebuild that, and that is not cheap. That is not something that can be done overnight. It's going to take 30 years, 40 years to get back to what it is today.
A little bit longer term than 3 hours. So that was the trick, 3 hours. So, but that's fair. That's an absolute one. It's going to take longer than 3 hours to do that. Here's this. Blowing out, there's 3 major substations in Iran that essentially power all 9 provinces of Iran. And if you take out one of those facilities, the other 3 facilities are essentially capacitors that store energy and redistribute energy. So there is one giant processing for power for Iran, along with 3 other major substations. If you hit all of those, Iran will be in the dark. And Iran will be in the dark because they don't have the money to rebuild that network, and we would literally destroy it. So hitting their electrical grid would set them back to the Stone Age. There's an instantaneous example. Can you give me another one?
How about we just continue to freeze all of the illegal funding, the profits that they have made from selling all of the oil or selling everything else, right? By seizing all of that and keeping it out of their hands, then they don't have nearly as much assets to go and buy other weapon systems from China or Russia.
It's funny, we hit 3 banks last night, and what do all those banks have in common in Tehran? They all fund the proxy groups and terrorists of Hezbollah, the IRGC, the JIP, IRGC,
Funny how that works.
the Houthis, and Hamas. Isn't that freaking hilarious that he just mentioned that? I have another one. What's something you need in the desert? Water. Well, the water and desalination plants that they have in Iran. There's only a couple and a handful of those that provide most of the water and the free freshwater intake coming in from some of the mountains in Iran. You would have to hit about 15 sites simultaneously, but you would no longer have water free flowing in Iran. And that isn't good when you live in a desert, a high desert, but still a desert. Folks, we can go on and on and on and on and on. We haven't even talked about electronic countermeasures. We haven't even talking about their industrial, their gas for their industry. You haven't even talked about putting, like, this would be attacking the people, but you could do biochemical warfare. There's a lot of things we can do. We can also use MOABs in the heart of the 9 cities in Tehran are in Iran and hit 9 of their provinces. Yes, we would indiscriminately kill 250,000 people, but this would have a massive impact on them. There's a lot of other things we can do besides a nuclear weapon. And what Donald Trump was talking about in this specific example was hitting the electrical grid. That's what he was talking about. But yeah, destroying ports, destroying roadways. Do you know how much food actually they import? They import a shit ton of food. So what have you put?
I think that's when we start getting into a little bit of a. We have to be really careful as the country that we are, that we're not by proxy affecting the people of Iran versus the government.
Right.
Obviously, it's the government that's the problem. I wouldn't want any innocent Iranian who is already condemning their own government and has the balls to say so. You don't want those people suffering, but we have to be. We have to make sure that we're separating out the people from the government. Make sure the government pays dearly, but that the people have every opportunity to overthrow that government.
Yeah, they're not in a good place. Iran is not very popular with the world right now. The Lebanese are so scared of the Jews. Do you want to know all these people that say this shit about the Jews, that they were just trying to kill civilians in Gaza? Do you know who the Jews hate more than Gazan? Lebanese people. They're not big fans. Oh yeah, they're not big fans of Lebanese. They are not big fans of Hezbollah. They are not big fans of the Lebanese government. They don't really necessarily care about the people so much. But the government, they don't like Lebanon. Here are the Lebanese people watching southern Lebanon get hit. Watch what they're doing. This is how scared they are of the Jews.
ها فقعة واحدة شفتيها أنا مصور فقعة واحدة ها لك 3 4 يا إيه 5 هيك هي ضاحية عم طولها يا زلمة ضاحية عم طولها لك شو 5 6 ها هلا بيطلع الصوت.
They're literally eating dinner, watching, and just casually. If they were so terrified that Israel, do you know what happens when a siren goes off in Israel? Every single person goes into a bomb shelter because they know that they're targeted. But you can hit Lebanon. You can hit southern Lebanon. You can see it in Iran. People aren't running. The areas, the IRGC compounds that are getting hit in Tel Aviv, you can see schools are coming out and celebrating and jumping up and down and recording it because they know that Israel and the United States are not going to target them. This is the difference between the Jews and the Muslims and the Arabs and the Persians. And it's not that all of them are bad, and it's not the people that are bad, but these governments are radical. They are terrorists, and they have no concern for anyone's life but their own. So it's just an interesting, it's just an interesting video when you see this. Watch this.
She has family in Iran still that she talks to every day.
All my family, all my friends, they are in Iran. I still can talk to them sometimes when they have internet. And
Hey, folks, do me a favor. We're at 196. We're 104 away. We've got 100 people on because Twitter's down, but we've got a bunch on Rumble, too. We've had 90 likes. Folks, whatever platform you're on, just hit the like button if you could. That helps out. If you can't donate, get us shared, get us out there. Right now, a lot of people are watching regular news. I wouldn't recommend that. You're not going to get the straight truth. You're going to get that here. So please bookmark us. Please throw us a like, and we'll continue to keep broadcasting and giving you guys the truth.
none of these guys, none of them, they are Iranian. I'm Iranian. I know better than all of this. People in Iran, they're happy. They're fucking happy because 47 years they fight against this regime. We tried to protest to change this regime, but we couldn't because they killed more than 50,000 people just in 2 days, just in fucking 2 days. So right now, the only way that we get off this regime is this war. So please just shut the fuck up if you don't know about my country. Don't talk about my country. That's it.
What do you think about what President Trump's strategy is? Do you approve of what he's doing?
Yeah, definitely.
Folks, I'm not going to play it here, but I saw a video today, and this video essentially came from a mobile phone, and it was somebody who was on the inner lip of a ceiling of a building and holding the phone up like this and recording the street, where you see 3 IRGC tacticals, which are trucks, and opening up 100% with fully automatic belt-fed guns into crowds.
When you think about,
it's insane.
Between the genocide that was happening there, between what this poor lady was just talking about, between the stories that we've all heard for the last 40 years of Iran, right, by way of the government, literally just shitting all over their females, like they're not allowed to vote, they're not allowed to drive, you got to cover up. If a woman in Iran happens to get raped by way of another, like some other asshole rapes her, then she is the one that is held liable and potentially put to death, right? It's somehow like that's her fault. So when I hear of everyone on the far left saying, "Oh, now I'm crying my eyes out for the Iranian government. Why are we involved at all?" This is the kind of shit that they're trying to stop. They're trying to stop the starvation. They're trying to stop the genocide that Matt was just talking about firing just into crowds. They're trying to stop the 50 years of rape, murder, and pillaging that's happened throughout for the Iranian people. None of that should be happening. And here is an administration that put a line in the sand and said, no more. We will stop this. And for the last 40 years, every administration has said, look, we don't support this. This is the line. Don't cross it. And if you do, well, nothing's going to happen, right? This is the first administration in 40 or 50 years to say, no, we mean this. And if you do this, we're going to attack. And now that we have, Iran is just like, oh, this isn't the America that we were ready for. Why are you attacking us now? We gave you that warning.
Yeah. When you open up with an RPK 74 or an MVD into crowd of protesters, you're not on the right side of this, folks. So have they killed for 50,000? I don't know. I haven't seen the mass graves. I haven't seen it. Do I know they've killed thousands? Yes.
Yes.
We know this. Is it 50? Is it 40? Is it 10? Does it fucking matter? Do you guys remember Tiananmen Square? Do you remember the French Revolution? Do you remember what happened in the Chinese Revolution? Do you know what happened in our American Revolution? It doesn't take people killing hundreds and thousands and tens of thousands to spark a revolution. All it takes is tyrannical rule and the people ultimately saying no more. Here is the THAAD system in real time. This is cool. We haven't seen the THAAD. You've seen some testing done, but this is actually live examples. And these turn radius on these systems and the intercept on these THAADs, they're pretty fucking impressive. Pardon my French. Folks, 196, we're 104 away. We don't want to miss goal. Leeroy hasn't been back in 10 days, so we would love to hit goal tonight. 12 minutes and 11 seconds to hit. We're going to go a little bit overboard tonight. We've got a few more things to do, but not too much. We've been staying on time, so we're going to try to stick to it. Here's THAAD's system in real time. This will impress the shit out of you. Watch these things. They work in conjunction. They have a backup. So instead of being a singular missile, the missiles work in tandem with the THAAD. It's pretty interesting. Look at that.
Oh my God. Wow! Garantita, no mami!
So to explain what's happening here, just to give you an idea, and I've had a chance to break this down and zoom into it. Oh, okay. Is if you take a look at these two, these are going after, and these are HK and something else. But do you see how they're keeping space between them? So they're, probably about 75 to 100 feet, maybe a little bit, 50 to 75 feet in between them. If you watch these two come in, they're going to narrow their approach, and they are not going to go head on with this missile system. Watch what they do. They're still apart. They explode when they get in proximity, and they put a wall of shrapnel and fire that thing can't get through, and they explode when they're parallel with it. And the double redundancy kills the system. And this is, the THAAD's meant for a larger missile, medium range style missile, larger tonnage, larger weight, and larger speed. And that is pretty, because you can see it. They both blow up before they hit. Watch. See?
Oh!
Yep. So we can go into this.
Wow! Garantita, no mami! Wow! هيتنكشوت لو ما امين تفست ايدي واو.
Let me get this video going.
Oh my God.
All right, so we'll zoom in on it just so you can see it.
Oh my God.
Yeah. You see that?
Wow!
Pretty impressive. I love shit like that, and I love to see how these things work. But now doing tandem for redundancy in case one fails, and creating 2 explosions on the side of it, it's pretty amazing. May cost a little bit more, but it's pretty effective. Here is CNN peddling state TV. 5 minutes CNN put Iranian TV live. I have never seen in my life an American TV station peddle state media, whether it be Russia, whether it be China, whether it be Iran, whether it was Iraq. They never did this.
Mujtaba Khamenei, the leader of the Islamic Republic, in their first public speech addressing the great nation of Iran and the brave fighters of Iran, the fatalities, those who were injured, and also they addressed the leaders of some neighboring countries. The Islamic leader said that it has been very difficult to be the successor of Khomeini.
I've heard he doesn't have a leg. I've heard he doesn't have a leg to stand on. So there's 3 videos here I got to show you. It's rumored that he is in a coma, that he has lost the use of one leg, that this guy is not even alive, and of course they're putting this shit out here. Here's Trey Yanks, who I just absolutely love, who I would love to get on the show one day. I'm working on this so hard. Barry Morgenstein knows Kevin Cork. I knew Kevin in Denver. I've reached out to him, and I want Trey Yanks on our show so bad. Here is Trey, and then I'm going to show you Alex Jones. We're going to let Leeroy address this, because Alex Jones just literally delivers a giant shit sandwich to all of you and tells you to take a bite as he lies. Here it is.
This in right now on Iranian state media, a presenter read a new statement from Iran's new supreme leader, Mujtaba Khamenei. And Reuters is reporting a few highlights from those remarks, saying that the supreme leader said in the statement, "We believe in friendship with neighbors and only target the bases, and we will inevitably continue." That is not true. We know that many Gulf countries have had their residential and civilian infrastructure attacked. Now, Iran's new supreme leader in this statement goes on to say all U.S. bases should immediately be closed in the region, and those bases will be attacked. He also says in the statement, again, that was presented on state media, he does not appear in the statement.
That was Robert covering the processing costs for the donations. Thank you. That's very kind of you to do that. A lot of people don't consider that. If you give 20, usually, 10% goes to PayPal or whatever. So if you give 100, $10 goes. So it's always nice when people, gross it up a little bit. We always appreciate that. Folks, $94 away from goal.
That he calls on unity among the people of Iran and participation in Quds Day. Now, Quds is the Arabic word for Jerusalem, and this day normally falls on the last Friday of Ramadan. And so, if my math is correct here, that would be March 20th of this year, the last Friday of Ramadan, when traditionally we have seen Iranian proxies like Hamas and Hezbollah launch attacks and also large demonstrations in the region. And so this is certainly something to look out for in the days ahead.
All right, so you got the straight poo from Trey. You heard a lot of it. Now, here's Alex Jones. Now, here's what's great about Alex Jones is 66% of this is true until the last part. Listen to this. Listen to this. Guys, this is why it's so important to get your information from places you can trust.
Iran's new supreme leader last night put out an official statement, a written statement, saying that the United States has 1 month to get out of the Middle East, to leave all the bases, or they will totally block the Strait of Hormuz. That's what the media is reporting on. But in the middle of the statement, he says they will also deploy their nuclear assets, implying they have nuclear weapons. They've also had their military leaders come out and say that they can test a bomb within 1 week. I've been telling you for 15 years, they have the fissile material to make bombs. The information I have is they've already got them constructed. Now, people didn't want to believe that because they didn't want to go to war with Iran. They go, well, that means Netanyahu's telling the truth. Well, Netanyahu's been saying for 20-something years they can get a bomb in, a month or a week. The point is that my military sources over 15 years ago told me this. I checked with other sources. They said, yes, indeed, they had picked up the intel on the ground and with satellites that they had fissile material refined up to the level they needed, and that the Iranians could easily construct a bomb once they had that. So Iran claimed that religiously it was a fatwa by the last Ayatollah to never build a bomb. Well, the new one just said, we will deploy our nuclear assets. It's not even failed. Now, I don't know whether they've got the bombs constructed, but even the Pentagon believes they can do it in a week if they have the material, and we know they have the material. So this is a massive escalation. Trump was warned by the chairman of the Joint Chiefs that this would not be a 4-day war like some were telling the head of CENTCOM, and here we are. Now, I did a report yesterday, and I pointed out that the Iranians have become belligerent and emboldened. That doesn't mean they're, quote, winning. It means they don't care, and they're going to go down with the ship. And now we've got the codes that came in that they have ordered their sleeper cells to take action. That could be real. It could be a false flag, a fake message. I don't know, because they really do have sleeper cells, but also the deep state could stage attacks to legitimize expanding the war. Trump's got ground troops ready to go in. Since last Saturday, 7 days into this, we're not 12 days in, he's been trying to get an off-ramp. The Iranians said, we're not surrendering. And now they've said, basically, you have to surrender, and you have to leave, or we'll block the Strait of Hormuz. That's economic terrorism, and we'll deploy our nuclear assets. So that's the reality. That's what's going on. That's the facts, and I'm authenticated yet again. This is what I do. I research, have the best sources. I also see comments going, Trump's got the best intel. Trump is fed so much garbage intel, it's insane. In his first administration, for 2 years, they had tens of thousands of U.S. troops in Syria from him when he ordered them taken out. He got really pissed about that. Remember Harry Reid, when he was first getting elected, Trump, 2016, said, we're going to give him fake intelligence briefings. Turned out John Bolton did just that. One of the reasons he's been indicted. So you guys thinking Trump gets the best intel, you're absolutely wrong about that, ladies and gentlemen. A lot of the time, Trump gets no signal.
Okay. Dude, I'm going to let you have the first whack. Hold on. I'm going to let you have the first whack at this pinata. So enjoy, and then I'll hit it.
Yeah. So Alex Jones is woefully misinformed here. And this is just one of those cases where anybody who's currently watching Alex Jones and still finds value in this guy's commentary, you really need to disconnect and come over to our show. I will set you straight. Matt will set you straight. This is a case of Alex Jones absolutely with that commentary that is about 50-50 right and wrong. The parts that he said right were, sure, the threats were made. The threats are always made, right? But the steps, no. Iran cannot make a nuclear bomb currently. We keep an eye out for exactly that kind of thing. We have, I don't want to get into too many of the specifics, but we have ways to monitor, right, what level of progress they are at. And that's one of the reasons we did Midnight Hammer several months back, was to set that program back, which we did. Now, if you believe that is still a threat, I think that's how you can fast forward and come to the conclusion that, all right, this is why we're doing what we are now. But I'm here to tell you folks, there's a big difference between Alex Jones is saying in terms of they have fissile material and then the ability to either make a bomb and or deliver said fissile material. And that's a very broad spectrum of shit that he is saying that is not true. They probably do have fissile material. It is currently underground and unusable, right? Whatever was left in the centrifuges from Midnight Hammer, it's still there. Technically, they're still in possession of it, but they have no way to access it, for one. Two, they don't actually have the technology to make said bomb yet. Now, they might be getting outside help from any one of a number of countries who don't like us, and that's probably true. But that's a big leap to go from they have fissile material, they can make a bomb, no, they can't, and they can deliver said bomb, no, they can't. Very different things.
We know that Iran tested successfully 16 months ago an intercontinental ballistic missile, which essentially means that it's allowed to go ahead and enter up into the outer atmosphere and re-enter Earth. That we know they successfully did that. If they had a nuke, they would have used it already. And they wouldn't have used it against the United States. They wouldn't have used it against Israel. You want to know where they would have hit? Saudi Arabia. because that is the only other nuclear power that is about to be a nuclear power who isn't a nuclear power. And the one thing that Iran fears more than the Jews having a nuke are the Sauds. There is no reason for Iran not to at least hold, because here's what they would have done. This is the easiest way for Iran to ensure that Iran continues to survive, is that they would smuggle nuclear material into the Yemenis and the West Yemenis, into the Houthis, and they would have actually cooked off a nuke in Pakistan. And then you would have seen nuclear war between India and Pakistan immediately. There would be no questions. India would attack Pakistan immediately, or vice versa. Those two countries are so pent up to shove a nuke up each other's asses, they hate each other.
Yeah.
Iran doesn't want to hit the Jews necessarily. They don't want to hit the United States because they know the retaliatory strikes will decimate them. They want to start nuclear powers in the south parts of the Middle East, southern portions in India and Pakistan, because of what type of chaos it'll happen, and what will happen in Jordan, what will happen in Egypt, what will happen in UAE. Iran wants complete decimation of its enemies. They're not very popular in the Middle East. People don't like Iran. Okay? And there was a time that they hated the Jews more than Iran, and that's why Iran got away with it. That's why Iran went into a war with Saudi Arabia and Iraq, which they did. The Iran-Iraq war was massive. A lot of people don't even know what happened. There's nothing better than Arabs killing Jews besides Arabs killing more Arabs. So Iran wants destabilization. They want to be where Saudi Arabia is. And the best way to piss off and to destabilize the Middle East is to ensure that Saudi Arabia gets hit. They're the strongest power in the Middle East outside of Israel. So let's try to be realistic here. Alex Jones is wrong on so many levels I can't even begin to tell you. Because the United States has human intelligence, electronic intelligence, radent, has the ability to go ahead and sniff out what it would take to create these type of weapon systems. Why do you think the United States is hitting Iran right now? Can anyone fucking tell me? It's really simple, because we hit them with Midnight Hammer and we took out their nuclear facilities, and we did such an effective job at it that we are finishing it now. Because if we wait another 5 years, we will not be able to hit those facilities. We will not be able to cripple them. Their integrated air defense systems from the 70s and 80s and 90s up until 2000 were the greatest in the world, and Leeroy will tell you that. The IADs in fucking Iran, for every square mile, they had 3 integrated air defense systems. They had the greatest shield. They were better in China, better than Russia, any other enemy that we had. But that technology is outdated. And we are seeing the failure of Chinese weaponry is failing at a massive clip. It's ineffective. A lot of their stage 2 restructuring of their IAD systems, China has been upgrading their systems, and these are still an abysmal failure. You guys think that China is this giant fucking war machine, and it's not. It is a fake war machine. And the one reason why is it is a paper tiger is because they are dependent on energy. Every one of our fucking vessels are either tied to a nuclear carrier that can run for fucking 50 years, and they have to refuel. This limits China's capabilities. They don't have 5th generation aircraft. The hypersonic missile, do you really think that this hypersonic missile is that big of a fucking deal to the United States that we have not already have countermeasures against it? Do you really believe our 11 carriers are vulnerable to something and Iran hasn't launched something at them? Why do you think none of our carriers have been even attacked? There was a fire on the Gerald Ford today. You know what they said? Oh my God, what happened? The laundry room caught on fire. Laundry is more threatening than the Iranians are. Alex Jones is full of shit. I'm just letting you know.
He is.
Him and his transsexual frogs. Okay.
They're making the frogs gay.
Here's some Tel Aviv humor. This is funny.
That drives me nuts.
He is. Folks, we are $94 away from goal. We did not hit it on Monday. We made up for it. I think it was Tuesday. We made up for it. We had a huge night last night, and I'm hoping we can hit it again. Let's go if we could. Here is...
Hey, I'm starting to encounter... I think we're starting to get some weather. I think I'm going to scoot. Yeah,
Love you.
I'll talk to you in a little bit, man.
Thanks for tonight, buddy.
All right.
Good job tonight. Thank you. Get off, save your equipment. We only have a couple more videos to go. Good to have Leeroy on here. It was amazing. Here is some Tel Aviv humor, which is kind of funny. Folks, $94 to go.
Hi guys, I am reporting to you from the absolutely devastated city of Tel Aviv on the 11th of March 2026. As you can see, the city is on fire. We are in ruins. It is utter chaos here. Everything is burning and we're really struggling to stay alive. And we're definitely not chilling at home watching a Louis Theroux documentary on Netflix, even though he's actually an anti-Semitic prick. Definitely not. And we definitely didn't just order a Wolt delivery of falafel in Lafayette with fries. That definitely didn't happen. And yesterday, I definitely didn't have my closets installed, because God forbid I should have closets installed, during all this catastrophe and this devastation. We're really struggling here, and we're definitely not peaceful and serene. Except we're fucking fine. We're fine. In fact, we're great. We're great. We are heavily protected by our amazing government, who have made sure that we all have bomb shelters and we all get sirens. We get a siren 10 minutes before, we get a reminder 5 minutes before, and then we get the outside siren a minute and a half before the rocket's about to fall, but it never falls. It gets intercepted 99% of the time. We are absolutely fine. The Islamic Republic of Iran is lying to you. They're lying to you, and you guys, you idiots, you fools, you're eating it up. Gobble, gobble, gobble. More fool you. More fool you. You are ingesting propaganda like there's no tomorrow, and I'm actually embarrassed. I'm actually embarrassed for you. So crack on. We'll do the same. We will do the same.
Love it. It's just genius. It's just genius. Folks, Leeroy's out, and we certainly love having him on, but if he jumps off, it's because storms are pretty bad. And we actually wound up having that last night, but we're doing much better now. thedumbshow.com/donate 206 is our current standing. We're looking to get to 300. I've got some more videos to show. We've got about 10 more minutes to go, but we definitely want to try to hit it. Here is late night humor. So they did a run over the last 12 days, and they looked at all of the humor, the late night shows. 96% of them, whether it be Saturday Night Live or Kimmel or Colbert or whatever it is, 96% of the comments on there have been negative, and negative jokes about Iran. Here it is.
After launching yet another illegal war in the Middle East that could destabilize the region and put American troops in harm's way, Trump has been spending his time doing what all presidents do during wars, taking calls from reporters.
Just after midnight, the Pentagon launched what they are calling Operation Epic Fury, which is different from its original title, which was Operation Epsteino Distracto.
This military mission has been dubbed Operation Epic Fury. Fun fact, Epic Fury is an anagram for Forget Epstein.
So far, you've hit nuclear facilities, missile defenses. What do you want to destroy the most?
The Epstein files.
Okay, I understand. Yeah.
Breaking news. The U.S. Central Command says 3 fighter jets were shot down by friendly fire from Kuwaiti forces.
Okay, now I know it's not great that our allies shot our planes down, but the good news is that they were probably using the missiles we sold them, so at least we know they were.
I don't mind humor. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think when your humor turns into propaganda, there's actually people out there who believe that this is to distract from Epstein. There's people who think that this is out there to distract from the Guthrie case. There's actually people out there, when something like this happens, their first response, and I see it all the time on the site and all social media, is, what are they trying to distract us from? The View said it. I'm sorry. I just have to say this. How stupid can you be that one thing will distract you from another? Why aren't you capable of disseminating and processing multiple bits of information simultaneously without being distracted from your primary initiative? this is what kind of separates us from the animals, besides opposable thumbs. But sitting here walking around like cognitive dissonance is something that affects everybody. That a singular thought cannot survive in a multitude of complexity. It's the dumbest thing. Like, I know when I wake up, I have to shit, shower, shave, eat breakfast, get dressed, and I am planning my day while I'm doing those things. You are able to multi-switch. You may not be able to multitask truly, but why are you distracted? If everything is a distracted, well, then you should never be distracted, right? Because you should allow and control the information that enters your orbit. It just doesn't make any sense. Guys, I deal with, like, I go through hundreds of videos a day. I read thousands upon thousands, tens of thousands of words a day. I consume audio in the background, multiple. I've got Fox News, CNN, MSNBC, and 2 or 3 podcasts going at the same time. If you think I'm kidding, Chuck and Kathleen Peterson are going to be here tomorrow, and they get to see how I cook. I will process multiple. I've got TVs on all over the place. Now, oh, well, not everyone's like you, Matt. Okay, great. Well, maybe that's true, but do you think maybe you could just say, I'm not going to allow myself to be distracted. I'm going to take a little bit, all of it in, and then decide what's beneficial and important. I don't know. I don't understand this. I always hear this, they're trying to distract us from something. Well, if you know that, then why are you getting distracted? I talked about the Lucas drone. This is great. I told you that they were replicating them based upon the Shahed drones that they have intercepted. But not only that, you guys have to understand, the first drones that hit Ukraine outside of the bombardment from Russian bombers and Bear Foxtrots were drones, and Iran sold them to Russia. This is the truth, and Ukraine is helping us, thank God, with some of these personal remote drones that are essentially like Stinger missiles for drones. Matt even had time to respond to me while he was busy. Distraction my ass. Yeah, I don't get distracted. Fuck that. I'm too busy. I talk to people all the time. I always talk to listeners, and I always try to respond. Sometimes I get stuff that I just don't respond to because I'm not going to engage with it, but I don't believe in being distracted. I mean, you guys, there's 24 hours in the day, and you better believe that I only spend about 4 to 6 hours of them sleeping a night, and the rest is being engaged. There's people who've reached out to me at 1 o'clock in the morning and I'm awake. They've reached out to me at 4 o'clock in the morning. I'm awake, and people will attest to it. The number one thing that I get sent, I wish I had my messenger so I could open it up and show you, is, do you ever sleep? The answer is no. Here is the Lucas drone. I told you all about the Lucas drone. Essentially what they did is they take the Shahed drones, they repurpose them, they reversed engineered them from some of our defense contractors, made them faster, made them more efficient, made the explosive ordnance stronger, make the outer hull have higher integrity, also have RF capability rejection, so they cannot be hacked or they cannot be intercepted or jammed with electronic countermeasures. They are excellent. Here's one actually working in a northern base in Iraq, which was actually had militants and dissidents inside of it, and this Lucas drone is hitting them. I'll take it. So using their own technology, and not only that, there was a couple of other videos I saw today where they took the Shahed drones and they reprogrammed them and used them against Iran. Folks, we have just a little conversation. I know things are tight right now. I think people are waiting for income tax. We know March is kind of a slower time for us. We respect and understand that. But we're going to ask, if you're in a situation where you watch the show, you love the show, you appreciate the show, it's really hard not hitting goal. We don't really care if we get $600-700 nights, which we do on occasion. We love that. We appreciate it so much, but we really just have set a number of when we broadcast and what we do during the day that we need to meet in order to continue to move forward. Now, you can do the math and you can say, okay, so $1,500 a week, and then you take that's $6,000. That's a lot of money. Well, 40% of that goes to taxes right away. Now you go, wait a second, Matt, but you got the tax on tip thing. Well, we ate into that a long time ago. But the point is that we don't necessarily make what you see because we have taxes. We're a business. We reinvest. We have to pay for streaming costs. We have to pay for bandwidth. We have to produce the videos. We have to go ahead and put them out there. All that stuff we do. So it helps us, even if it's $10, even if it's $15, $5, whatever it is, it really keeps us going. So if you have an opportunity, thedumbshow.com/donate. I hate doing this, especially at the end of the night. I don't like doing this. I love it when we just hit it and crush it and we don't have to talk about it all the time. And there have been people in the past that say, oh, gee, well, you're always broke. No, we're always trying to hit that 300. And most nights we hit it with no issue. But I'm 21 minutes past the hour. And every time we stay on, it costs more. So we just want to try to get you the news as best as we can, get you some information. We think it's worth it. We don't ask you to subscribe. We don't ask you to have a membership. We don't ask you to do any of that. We just ask that if you're sitting around and you're going, okay, I pay $20 for Netflix a month and I never watch it because I hate Netflix. Maybe that goes to the Don't Unfriend Me show. Helps us out. So if you have a chance, please do. We're going to be leaving here in probably 5 minutes. And I really don't want to leave another goal gone because it really is not a good thing. Okay? Appreciate you. Thank you so much. The Tomahawk stuff. You guys, we've been talking about this, the Tomahawk hitting schools. I'm going to show you opposing voices. And these voices are people who are saying that this is not a Tomahawk. Now, the BDA assessment and New York Times put out that this was a Tomahawk missile. I've explained to you it's a Tomahawk. I asked Leeroy if it was a Tomahawk. Do I think it's the Tomahawk that hit the school? No, I don't. I will stand by that I do not believe the school was hit by a Tomahawk missile. The bomb damage, the photos that I saw, it does not coincide with a Tomahawk. It actually looks like a secondary explosion from maybe a sympathetic explosion from a Tomahawk lighting something off or a intentional blast. It's the back half of the room. And if you look at the building, it honestly looks like someone clacking off a vest where there is secondary explosives or possibly an oil tanker or propane or grenades or Semtex or whatever it would be. It doesn't look like a Tomahawk strike. But this video, I want you to listen to this person. Seems like a nice guy, seems smart enough, but he's denying that it's a Tomahawk, and there's really no information. In fact, he says multiple things that aren't true. We're going to cover it together.
The entire story about us blowing up a school is bullshit. It's just not true.
What I told my wife, because we were watching the same 60 Minutes piece, was typically they hide missiles underneath these schools and churches and hospitals. If they did hit the school, was that the intention?
They didn't.
This is very true, what he just said. They absolutely hide weapon caches, fuel, small arms, ammo, grenades, explosives, all those type of things are usually kept. And this is a military base. This is an IRGC military base. It's not completely impossible to fathom that these secondary rooms that were there possibly had munitions in them and that they were targets. That's possible. But it looks like a different system was used for that strike if it was U.S. forces because of the explosive profile from the shots. But here's the rest of what this guy says.
You're positive they did not hit a school?
I mean, anything is possible, but
nobody needs to apologize for not being able to donate. Please don't do that. Because that's worse for me, because I'm not trying to make anyone feel guilty. I'm asking because there's people who are watching who may not know what position we're in or why we have donations up. That never, ever apologize. I want you guys to put your oxygen on first. Take care of yourself. It's not your job to keep the show going. But if you're in a situation where you can help donate to the show and you love watching the show, you're new here or you've been here a while and you're like, I've been waiting to kind of donate and find the right time. Now's that time. Be a fantastic time. That's all I'm saying. You never need to apologize. Here it is.
The story that we've been fed by the American media, including the American media, and the one that Mehdi Hasan believes and Chris Hayes believes and Dave Smith believes and Tucker Carlson believes and all these other idiots, is just not true. They're saying...
I agree with them 120%. I don't believe the story that we struck a school on purpose or that the footage that we've seen, because the video that was taken, I showed you the lineup from a geographical standpoint. There is no way that bomb hit that school. That's not the video. CJ Jenkins donated. Great show. Thank you, CJ. We love you. We appreciate you so much. So we know it isn't, because we're talking that school from that position of where we saw that bomb hit was 100 yards away to the northeast. There's no way. So that right there, we immediately know is BS.
That it was a Tomahawk missile that hit a school in Iran, and it was not.
Okay. Yes, it was. It was a Tomahawk. You can't tell me what it is. See, that's the great thing you need to know, is that there's only so many weapon systems, so many platforms, so many countries that are in theater. And it's not a KH-55. It's not. You can't show me that it's a KH-55, but I can show you why it's a Tomahawk. Adrienne Jeanette. This sounds, is it Adriana? Adriana? Is it Adriana or Adrienne? Adrienne. I'm going to say Adrienne. Jeanette, I need to get your name right because what you just did was awesome, and thank you so much. $100. That is incredible. God bless you, and thank you. That's awesome. See, and then that person can sit here and say, you know what? I've given my month, or I've given 2 months, or I've given 3 months, whatever it is, and I'm good. And then if everyone did that and was able to do that with $5, $1, $10, we hit it. And then we don't have to talk about it. Because I hate talking about it. Everyone knows I hate it.
I don't know what it was, but it wasn't a Tomahawk. Some people who are in that industry have taken a pretty close look at this stuff.
Steven Zymzak. Steven, I love you. You're amazing. Thank you so much, Steven. Zymazak. It's not Zimkazak. Between you and the other guy, my God, your names. McKizak. I'm so good with names. I don't understand what my problem is. 2 of them. All right, here we go.
Used AI to do math, like measure the parts of the ordnance and stuff like that. The trajectory, the angle is wrong.
The angle is not wrong. I cannot go into ultimate specifics, but an 80-degree down angle on a Tomahawk missile is not it. No, that's not true. Completely not true.
The question is dropping it too steep an angle. The purpose of a Tomahawk missile is that it travels at 50 to 100 meters AGL.
Licorabeck, right? Licorabeck. Shit, I think I got that right.
Above ground level.
Okay.
And it below radar, so it can't be hit with anti-air stuff. It does have the potential to, on the last approach, go up and then come back down for a top-down strike. For this kind of target, that would be unnecessary.
That's not true that it wouldn't be unnecessary. Why would you want to hit a side of a building when you have to go through a retaining wall? What the fuck are you talking about? See, this is why I get pissed off with operators. You're not intel, dude. You don't know anything about these missile systems. You saw the photographs. It has a retaining wall, has an 8-foot retaining wall. How is it supposed to come in nap of the earth? How is it supposed to come in a 30-degree down angle with wires and trees? Of course it's going to do terminal pop-up. And of course they're going to come down over the target. That's exactly why you have terminal pop-up, so you can hit the forecastle of a ship and hit it in the top, the weakest part of the vessel. So you could hit it in the quarterdeck, in the back where the engines and the hydraulics are. Same reason why you want to hit a building and you want to penetrate through the softest part of the building, which is always the roof unless it's reinforced. And if you want to go ahead and hit a building that has a reinforced roof, you're not going to use a Tomahawk. You're going to use a GBU. You're going to use a 1,500-pound bomb. But when you want to use something with absolute precision, you use a low-yield Tomahawk. Or you can use a prism. I just showed you the prisms. You can use an ATACMS if you really don't care about secondary explosives, if you don't care about casualties. But to say that you're this bullshit, it's not a Tomahawk, dude. That's the only thing it can be. You can't tell me another weapon system that remotely has that profile or capability. And I am telling you that a KH-55 cannot come in at an 80-degree down angle. I can tell you what a KH-55 is because it's not a classified piece of U.S. equipment. It's 60 degrees at max. Most KH-55 entry points are 32 to 38 degrees. I'm just letting you know, man. Must have been inverted in a 4G negative dive. How far? I don't know, 2 meters, maybe 1 meter, Mac. It was really great. I got a Polaroid of it. And what were you doing in this 4G negative dive? You know, keeping up foreign relations, you know, giving them the bird? Yes, bird. Yes, Goose, I know the bird. It's Leeroy's fault that donations are low. The two of you together are so good. Jeff Oliphant, $20. Thanks, man. We appreciate you. Hey, good night, Deborah. We love you, sister. Sim check. It's the way it's pronounced. Sim check. Okay. Okay. So Seisma check is not at sim check. Which sim checks make sense. It totally makes sense now that I hear it. Whatever. I love you guys. Olivia got it right. We know. Liquor back. Liquor Bayak. Moab. I keep hearing Moab. Everyone keeps saying Simzak. See, it's sim check. Makes sense. Everyone keeps talking the Moab. You guys, the Moab isn't that cool. Okay, the Moab has its purposes. Holy shit, people! Mr. Hollandays, $51.99 for 2409. Maddie, we love you. Thank you, buddy. You guys like the new format? Cleaner, isn't it? Sorry, I care about that stuff. I really don't care how it's pronounced. It's been destroyed before. Just keep up the good work. Sim check. I won't forget it again. You guys keep talking about the Moab. The Moab's cool, but it's really an infantry. It's to kill soldiers. It's to kill humans. It's to kill rats who are going in the tunnels. So the Moab is a great weapon. It's not like everyone, the Moab, it's big. Therefore it's no. It's a shitty penetrator. It's not good for subterranean strikes. It's not good for large building strikes. Its blast parameters are more of an inward bomb. So if you're on the outer perimeter, the shockwave is very small for the Moab from an external standpoint. It's a very different type of bomb. Hyperbaric or thermobaric bomb works differently. So can I show you what it looks like? Let me show you what the Moab looks like. A lot of you haven't seen what the Moab actually does. I'm going to show you. Here it is. That's it. That's it. That's cool. IRGC rat killer. Yeah. Or Taliban or ISIS-K or that's it, folks. It's not that exciting. I wish it was more exciting than this. It's not. You know? Napalm looks cooler than a Moab. Moab's just a big son of a bitch. It's mother of all bombs. That's what it is. That's it. It's a punishing weapon if you're on the ground and you're exposed. It's just a surface level bomb. That's what it's there for. And it's going to kill anything within, you know, depending upon the size. The Moab there's different sizes of those weapon systems, but the Russians have a bigger one than ours. And that one can take out a square mile. But you're talking about a half mile, 3/4 mile. You're going to be in a world of hurt. You're not going to be happy in that area. It can do some damage, but it's not a square mile. It's in circumference. So, yeah, it's no fun. You don't want to be on the ground and get hit by a Moab. Not good at all. Last video, and then I'm going to go watch a hockey game. Moab is hella good coffee. If you have not had Moab coffee, that's good coffee. I'm just saying. So one thing I know, we've dropped a few people. But that's okay. We're still right where we were. We got to get Twitter up and going again. Yes, go to the Don't Unfriend Me show and pick yourself up some coffee. It's good shit. So there's some things I know about aluminum. Not only was I invested in aluminum heavily when I worked with Apple because I understood the ebbs and flows of the aluminum market. Whenever a new phone is released, aluminum, about 6 months before that in June, you want to invest. Because predominantly aluminum overseas, Apple buys a shit ton of it, and it drives the cost up in the market. So whenever there's a phone release in June, buy aluminum and then short it. And it's always a good thing. So it's going to get June is going to have a steady influx of sales. So you buy it on the low and then you go ahead and sell it on the high. And then right around October, you want to get rid of it. And I did that for quite a while. I also did that with Taiwanese Semiconductor. I got in the Taiwanese Semiconductor when it was $1.32 a share. So there was things that I learned at Apple that I picked up. Okay, seems like everybody loves our coffee. So we haven't sold, I think we've sold 1 bag this month, which is insane. No, that's not true. We've actually sold like 7 or 8 bags, but it's not as many as we have been selling. Not a lot of new customers. It's a lot of returning. If you have not tried our coffee, go do it. Aluminium. No. September is the phone release for Apple. That's right. Oh, did I say sell it before? You're right. Not October, August. A lot of the other systems, you can sell it in October too. It depends. If they're simultaneously releasing new iMacs and iPads, they're not going to release those necessarily in September. A lot of those won't roll out until October. So that's why I said October. I should have made that clarification. Thank you, John, for calling me out. Sell off, get it in June, 3 to 6 months before the major release. They will buy in a shit ton of aluminum about, I don't know, almost a year before. Then you start hearing the rumblings about the new phone, and you'll start seeing an increase in aluminum prices. Apple buys a shit ton of aluminum. You'll see Samsung react too, and other companies that put out phones. You'll see an increase in aluminum. If you guys look at on the charts, you'll see it. And then you'll see, if you sell in August, September, you can get it on the high. But if they're also selling Macs and they're also selling iPads, those will not come out until right before Christmas usually. They don't release the same time as the phone. So you can time it, but either way, getting into aluminum is not a bad thing for a short, is what I'm trying to say. Take a look at this. So they just talked about this. Apple is for grandmas. That's the dumbest thing you've ever said. Drew, I will fight you tooth and nail. What, let's just do that. You can call in. Why would you say that Macs are for grandmas? Let's see. On my Mac right now, I am running 8 4K cameras. I'm streaming 512 Mbps audio. I am simultaneously processing that along with 4 75-inch TVs off this one thing. I've got 2 other slave computers running into it. I've got 4 Apple TVs pumped into it. I'm running a full soundboard, full touch board, full pedal board beneath me. All lighting systems coming through into this thing. I've got 4 independent stations with 4 mics simultaneously going into it. I am recording, and I am also outputting to 8 different channels, streaming in 4K, uncompressed audio. I've got 23 videos right now working, simultaneously loaded and ready to go. And my internal temperature is 92 degrees. This is Matt. Is this true?
Hey, boss. How you doing?
Hey, is this true?
It is true.
Why is Apple for grandmas?
A couple of reasons. Number one, they should have stayed on the RISC processor that IBM made, the PowerPC chip. It performed far better than Intel. Still performs far better than Intel.
We're not using Intel
the only
chips.
reason they switched.
We're not using Intel chip. We're not using Intel chips in Macs anymore.
Well, they switched up to something else now?
Yeah, it's called the M1. M1 and M2 processor.
Who makes that?
Apple.
Oh, Apple actually makes a chip now?
Yeah.
Their own?
Yeah.
Okay.
And
that's a plus.
And it doesn't require onboard RAM. It passively engages RAM, so you can have 8 gigs of RAM and you can outperform a 64 gigs of RAM computer.
Now, my biggest issue with them actually is the ecosystem. So number one, they stole the Unix operating system, FreeBSD.
Yep.
So that was kind of shitty to make it. Mac OS is good, but they locked it down so hard.
Yep.
I use, because I'm disabled, I use Samsung because the ecosystem's far larger, far more things I can do. I mean, basically, Apple has it so locked down that basically only grandmas can use the phones.
What do you want to do? What do you want to do?
Mac.
What do you want to do on a Mac that you feel you can't do?
Oh, there's a lot of things.
Okay, give me one.
There's a lot of compilers that I can't run. So, like, if I run certain Python codes, I can't do it on a Mac. There's just like, let's say, COTS software, it's commercial. I worked 23 years at IBM, so naturally, I'm anti-Apple bigoted.
Okay.
You know, they make good products, like no hate, but they lock their shit down just too hard.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so
right, like why wouldn't you just do a Linux server and do everything you have to do?
Let me answer your questions. You worked for IBM for 20 some odd years. I worked for Apple for 5. So you can run Python 3 on Mac.
Mm-hmm.
So
you can, but there's certain compilers that don't work.
Well, yes, they do, because you can run those on a Windows computer, correct? Or you can run it on a Unix or Linux system, correct?
Linux, yeah.
So why wouldn't you just use Boot Camp?
Well, but then I'm adding memory overhead to the system.
Memory overhead doesn't matter anymore when you have the M1 processor, because it doesn't use onboard memory like standard Intel processors or any other processor. See, we've revitalized. Apple has done something incredible. You really need to look at M1, M2 chips. What they do,
I will.
You really do, because
if I'm wrong, man. My bad.
No, brother, Drew. Listen, I'm not angry at you. The problem is that I used to
still the hate, brother.
No, God darn it, I'm not. I love you to death. This is very much like what I was with Windows. I was MSCE certified. I love Windows. I sold them all my life. I would say that Apple you couldn't quad box games on it. You couldn't play Crysis. You would have to lower the resolution. Everything was all printers sucked. That's not the way it is anymore. Apple is incredible with what I do. Can I just tell you what I got right now?
Yeah, please do.
I just want to tell you, and I've covered it on the show, because you may not have donated when we did the remodel. Maybe you did, but this thing is it's unbelievable. And if I tell you what it is, you're probably going to be shocked. Okay, so here is. Let's see. I've got to find it's on Apple. Hold on. Okay, so I have the M4 Max, and this is the Max Studio.
M4 Max. Okay.
M4 Max, and this is what it has. It's a single-threaded CPU, world's fastest CPU core, featuring 16-core CPU, 40-core GPU, 0.5 terabyte per second of unified memory bandwidth, neural engine that's 3 times faster than M1. The M4 Mac itself, it starts with 36 gigabytes of unified memory, but I have mine upgraded to 120 gigs of unified memory.
Do you render a lot other than live?
Do I what?
Do you render video a lot other than live?
Oh yeah, like, dude, I can process a 2.5, well, 3. These are about 4 gigs per show. I can format this. I can cut this. Let's just put it this way: I can go into Premiere and I can cut a 5-minute rendered clip with 70 to 75 different random effects. I can put filters on it. I can bring images in. I can splice video. Normally on my old Mac, which was the top of the line iMac, it would take me 3.5 to 4 hours to process that video, going from a 4 gig video down to 60, 70, 100 megabytes compression at 1080p. I can do that on this Mac right now in about 7.5 seconds.
Fuck, really?
I'm not kidding you.
Oh shit, sorry, I cursed.
Dude, there's a system out there that you can actually take the original Toy Story 1 and 2 that were processed on whatever they did out there, and you can run a bench test on your current computer to run it. This computer that I have can do shit that would take me hours to do that I can do in seconds. I don't know how to explain it any better than that. It's an amazing product.
Those were done on IBM RS-6000s way back when. I know the guy who sold those to Pixar.
Yeah, I can process
PowerPC setup.
I can render videos. Like I said, I mean, like the intro to the show, that's like a 200 gig video, 4K res, and it's probably got 100 transitions in it, and it's probably got, I don't know, 30 or 40 filters in it. It's got different levels of audio in it. It's got 4K footage in it. That thing took me like 8 hours to process, and it was almost overnight. I had to edit the back end of the video the other day and take out a name that was in there and replace it. And I think I processed that entire 2.5, 3 minute video that took me 8-9 hours on my old Mac. I think I did it in like 2.5 minutes on this Mac.
Oh, wait, were you spinning disk on the old one versus solid state?
Yeah, it was a solid state drive. Yeah, so it was a Samsung solid state drive.
Oh, the old one was solid.
Yeah, it was solid state. It was a 27-inch iMac, and it was incredible. But this, just look up the Mac Studio, but look up the M chip. The way it handles RAM is completely different than everything else. It's just an amazing computer.
Sweet, I absolutely will.
It's an amazing computer. And one last thing, I can
Fuck the phones.
Well, the phones I'm not gonna sell you on the phones, because the phones, honestly, they're a step behind, and they are so far behind Samsung right now, at least with optical. But Apple isn't anything like it used to be. Jobs had it right, but I'm telling you, their Studio Macs, these things are fucking beasts, and there's nothing that I can't buy anything that can do. You can't run 8 4K cameras simultaneously on this thing. It's ridiculous. I mean, can you see my screen right now?
No, I'm talking to you on the phone.
Watch it afterwards.
I watch your show on the phone.
Yeah, well, watch this afterwards. Rewind. Right now, I have got 5 screens up, and I can run across, and there won't be one hiccup or one lag on any of these things. It is just the smoothest computer I've ever seen. It's amazing.
You're what, OBS?
No, I'm running Ecamm, which is a resource whore, but it's effective.
Really?
It's effective. Yeah, I don't run OBS. I think OBS is inferior. I think it's shit.
It's glitchy.
Yeah, Ecamm isn't.
Huh.
Ecamm,
it crashes.
Yep, Ecamm does. I've crashed, I think, maybe 5 times on this show, and it was always because of a glitch with Leeroy. So anyway. All right.
Damn it, Leeroy.
Damn that Leeroy.
All
Love
right,
you,
cool.
Drew.
Well,
Love talking
thanks
to
for
you.
nerding out.
You got it, buddy. Talk to you later.
All right, man.
All right, bye. All right, anyway, guys, Sharon, hello. All right, sorry, we nerded out. I like Drew. He's a hell of a guy. Here is the aluminum tariffs working, and then we're going to get out of here.
Stuart, we're talking about 150 jobs here at the smelting plant in South Carolina, and these are good-paying jobs. They're going to pay on average of $125,000 a year. The plant here is going back to 100% manufacturing capacity for aluminum after they had to idle some of their production lines back in 2015 when the CEO says prices were just too low and competition from foreign suppliers was just too fierce. Listen to him here.
The tariffs are working. As Peter Navarro said recently, they're sacred to this administration. And we're really confident that if we continue to do what we need to do, invest in this country, reshore supply chains, and hire more American workers to manufacture and build communities like we have here in Goose Creek, South Carolina, or in NOLA, Oklahoma, we'll be successful for a long time here in America.
So, Stuart, I want to show you the work that's happening right here, because you can see the workers are building out what they call pot lines here at this smelting plant. This is where heavy-duty equipment will be housed that melts the aluminum, purifies the aluminum, mixes it with other types of metals to produce their finished products for their commercial customers. Once these pot lines are up and running, they will operate 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And this kind of domestic production is so important for our country, because right now most aluminum comes from foreign sources, mostly from China, and some of it, about 8%, is coming from the Middle East, which is driving prices higher. And the CEO of Century Aluminum here in South Carolina says that underscores the importance of building up domestic production like you see happening right here, Stuart.
It's pretty exciting to see this type of stuff. And I love the fact that at least we're getting some truth when it comes to the global economy. Are we perfect? No. But to see American manufacturing start getting a foothold, this is great news. Aluminum is so important, and China corners the market. And the United States spends a shit ton of money on aluminum importing it, especially since all of our phones, a lot of our vehicle parts are made from aluminum. It's an expensive thing. So to see it coming back is great. But wait until the next 7 to 8 years at these semiconductor plants that we're building. This is why we're doing AI. Getting semiconductor plants here in the United States and getting off independence of Taiwan is a really big thing for us. And China is racing to try to keep up with American innovation, and they're not able to. And we're just able to do incredible things with the amount of energy we have, the amount of infrastructure we have, and the incentive we have. Now we need to catch up on an education level. So it's just really good to see. I figured I would show you that video and end it tonight. Yes, I love Apple. I am a huge Apple proponent. And for doing this, I don't think there's anything better than Apple. It's just to be able to do what it does for me from a media standpoint is incredible. And, you know, I cut videos all day long. I render videos all day long. And I remember what it would be like on Windows computers. And it was painful. Like, it was painful. I would do a 2-3 hour project and it would just crash on me. And I'm just like, fuck. And Apple doesn't. It's reliable. All right. So listen, I want to say thank you guys for watching. We crushed goal, and that makes everything so much better. Tomorrow night, we're going to have Chuck and Kathleen Peterson inside the Chuck Peterson studio. And we're going to have both of them here talk to us. It's not going to be a set show. We're just going to kind of shoot the shit, have a good one. I hope you guys enjoy it, and I hope you take part in it. Somebody says, Matt, the CRAM sounds like an A10. Yeah, the only difference is that the A10 is a 30 millimeter Vulcan cannon, and the CRAM is 20 millimeter rounds. A little bit different. But yeah, we're gonna have a good show, good time, and Chuck will be here. Do me a favor, go on over to the Don't Unfriend Me show at thedumbshow.com. You can pick up some shirts, some hats, some coffee, whatever you want. And we're going to have a blast tomorrow. So we'll see you Friday night. Make sure everyone's here. Remember, I don't know if it's Jacket. Hold on. Liv, is it Jacket? You got to remember if it's Jacket or not tomorrow. Is it Jacket tomorrow? No Jacket tomorrow. So be next Friday. So no Jacket tomorrow. Just come on in and enjoy. We'll have a good one. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Hit the like button. Hit the share button. We're almost at 400,000. 400,000. It's getting there. Thanks for everybody. We appreciate you. We love you. And thanks for taking care of us. We'll see you then.
Adjusting transmitter output.
This is the Don't Unfriend Me show with your hosts, Matt, Leeroy, Amy, and Olivia. Geopolitics, military analysis, and election coverage. Coming to you live on all major social media channels at The Dumb Show. Honest, direct, unfiltered. We can agree, we can disagree. Just don't unfriend me.